what's up? How's everybody doing? I know I got a couple in here watching, so that's good. So I don't come on alone. I would just backed out and waited a little longer. No biggie. Hey Raymond, what's up? Oh yeah, you like that dragon? Yeah, I did too. That's why I did it like that. It's a bigger picture, but I just wanted to get the face. So I thought that looked cool. There's another one I got too. Wait till you see the other one. That'll probably be next Friday. I'm not sure. So how you doing, Raymond? Doing good from last night? Did you leave the room a little better? Gemma does that, man. She's good at that, making you feel good. We make her feel good. That's what counts. Goes both ways. How's everybody else do hanging out in chat? Well, I should say out in the background, being ghosts. I hope everybody's good. And I'll say that a lot. Just forgive me, I'm a little congested. I think I caught something. I think maybe Saturday I did have that periodicity. I may have had a little something. Definitely was going around there, that's for sure. You could tell Sunday. But I'm a little congested, but I've been outside and doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Ran all day today. Yes, she is pretty amazing. Yes, she is. Hold on 1 second here. We're looking to fix something. Sorry about that moment of silence. Yes, she is very amazing. She's a good woman. She's a good Jersey woman. Hey, friends with monsters, how you doing? Yeah, Ramy came in. He was here last night with Gemma. He left in a good mood. And that's what we like to see. How are you, friends with monsters? I know you did, bud. I know you did. I need to go to bed. It's been a good day off. Reconnecting. There you go. That's always good. That's always good. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. No, I can't sleep. That's usually how it works because you're out running around. Takes a little while to wind down. Hey, Ralph. Come in and writes his paragraph and then leaves. There he is. The lair dwelling mythical creature. Hey, did you see my backdrop? Thanks, bud. You're always good, man. Love you too. Did you see my backdrop? I'm going to back out so you can see my backdrop. Is that not cool or what? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Set those intentions. Make them good ones. I hope you're good, Ralph. You take care of that family, okay? I'm always around. Yell if you ever need me. You know, I got two chats going here. It just amazes me how YouTube lags so bad. It must be me, but the delay kills me. Delay in video, but the chat is up to speed. And SteamYard, my chat's off. I'll see it on YouTube before I see it in my StreamYard. It's weird. Ain't leaving tonight. Kids are at Nana's, and I am. Oh, there you go. Free night. Free night. Always nice to have those free nights. Well, good to have you there, bud. Hang around long for a while. We're going to watch Gemma here in a little bit. Watch listener encounters 15. It's a little. This one's a little newer because there was a big pause between 14 and 15. So I think this is just as she was starting to do SOR. I think around that time. Well, that's great. I hope you. Yeah, I should be going go out barefoot and say I prefer to. Eh, do what you need to, Raymond. Whatever makes you feel good at this moment. Because right now you just need to focus on you and everybody else, but mainly you. You're the most important. Doesn't hurt to put yourself first once in a while. Heal, get yourself strong again. So I guess the one we're gonna watch tonight's like 42 minutes, give or take, about 41 something. So it should be a good one. Like I said, it's no, I think it's around the time she goes a big space. I'm hoping that people are sending her listener encounters. I'm ready for a new one. So how's everybody doing now? How's everybody else doing tonight? 5 watching, couple in chat. That's good. I'll wait to. Hey, Lulu Bell, how you doing, dear? I'll probably start the. I usually start around 12:30 or so. Give everybody time to come in and say hi. Let me. There we go. Go out naked. You don't need to do that. Just relaxing. Scare the neighbors. I would definitely scare the neighbors if I did that. I wouldn't make it back to the door. They'd probably have the funny farm come pick me up and drag me off right away. It's bad enough they watch me go out there and do Tai Chi in the morning, like really early before my dad gets up. What's that guy doing out there? He's doing a dance. Just relaxing and relaxing. Hey, that's a Saturday night. You do what you need to. I'm surprised I have half the people that I get sometimes. And I do. Well, when I was doing both nights at midnight, Friday night always amazed me. But that's I'm kind of glad that those are on and off. Oh, excuse me. I know there's people that stream around midnight. Here at ET time, Eastern time. So maybe over on the West Coast or somewhere else. And I don't like to drink because all we are is chilling. That on Friday night, all we were doing was just chilling. I know Sony from Paranormal Chop Shop would stream some. He streams on Friday nights, and a couple other do sometimes. So I don't like treading on them, but at the same time, it's a good place to come and relax. Now tonight, Gemma's replay. We watch 1 or 2 of her past videos. She's got her. I think she's already put her Monday premiere video out. Let me make sure. So we do this. Yes, she did. Let's put it up here. See what we can do here. Got kind of dark. I'm gonna have to turn a light on for you guys. That was kind of creepy looking. Okay, let me go back down. There we go. Share. Okay. Still getting used to all this craziness. Okay. Here. Let me put me down here. I like going at the bottom there. There we go. That's her Monday video at 11 p.m. 11 a.m. Sorry. I'm doing better, Ghost. Ghostdragon. Thanks for asking. I will let Gemma know if she's not watching. Hold on a second again. Yeah, I think I am trying to catch something. But anyways, yeah, I will let her know. Ooh, I will let her know. I sure will. I'll probably talk to her tomorrow sometime. She's busy. But if she's watching, she might see you. So either way, you never know with her. I'm sure she's passed out. She was pretty tired when I last talked to her. But that's her video for Monday. And show up for chat. I should be there, so I don't see why I wouldn't. Let's stop sharing and put back. Cool breeze, right? Yeah. Let me go back to my video here so that way it's all queued up. Why did it do that? Give me a hard time. That didn't. Yeah, this is a newer video. You have to forgive me. I'm like I said, I've been working, but the whole week I've kind of felt that's the best way to put it. A little more wheezy and runny nose than usual. Yeah, I really think maybe Saturday, not only was my body fighting me, it was that too. Trying to find this here. Yeah, so give me a break here. 1 second, because I like to have it ready to go. Should be coming up to it. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Now I think I've gone too far. No, wait. It's 14. I knew I went too far. Here it is. Okay. Now we can get back to it. Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, just hanging. Trying to see if anybody popped in while I was playing around. Nope. Probably lost a few people, but we'll start here pretty soon. I always give it to about 12:30. See who pops in. See what you folks are up to. Anything exciting going on? Now, Raymond left last night in a good mood, and that was good to see. He needed it. It's always good when you walk away from something and feel uplifted. And I appreciate everybody who shows up Friday night. Sometimes it gets a little crazy for me trying to keep the list going and new people going. People come in and they say, "Oh, I want to read," and then I try to squeeze them in. And by the time I try to squeeze them in, they're gone or don't answer. And that happens. But I enjoyed doing it. But I know why she had such a hard time doing it by herself. You imagine trying to do that by yourself and do the cards. Whew. No, no news is good news. Amen to that, brother. All the cards Gemma read. Yeah, that happens too. Now, I used to get a reading from her when she did the cards. I was there from the beginning. A lot of people were that come in here. Anyways, I stopped doing it because I found during the readings, there's always something that kind of clicks with me. I always tell people if you don't even draw a card, if you don't want a card, just hang out and listen. Sometimes you get an answer. Sometimes you get a warning. But something might resonate with you. I love how YouTube pops up before StreamYard. It cracks me up. So you are having Thanksgiving dinner at your place, or are you? No, we're having it at home. We usually go to my brother's, but I think we're gonna pass this year. Dad kind of wants to, so we're gonna pass. Probably do it. I'll make a bird. I want to make a turkey this year because usually I just make a breast because it's just us three, and Giles goes to his mom's. So I think I'm gonna do. So usually I either make a breast or something. This time I'm gonna make a whole turkey. Make a big pan afterwards of noodles and turkey. Those guys will live on that all week. Some leftovers for sandwiches. And then Christmas, I'm going to make a duck. I make an orange duck that just. So I'm ready for some orange duck. So are you going away or are you staying home, Ralph? How many are traveling for Thanksgiving? Do it now while gas is still decent. At least in the Midwest, we pay. The price of gas here has been bouncing between $3.20 to about $3.60, and then it goes up and down. There's a couple places around here that actually have gone under $3, which has been weird. But it's like these out of reach places you just happen to stumble on them. Noodles and turkey sound nice. Yeah, that's what we do with the leftovers. That way we just make 2 big bowls and then we just heat it up over the week. I keep biscuits around and all that good stuff. I live in England. I'm going nowhere. England. You live in England? And you're still up? Bless your heart. You must be like me. I rock in my sleep. That's why I'm still up, because I usually wake myself up. I'm lucky to get 24 hours, 25, 26 hours of sleep a week. It's gone up since doing this with Gemma. I got to admit, and she does help me sleep, because usually I'm now averaging about 3 or 4 hours of good solid sleep, especially if I stream or stream with her. Oh, thanks, Raymond. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I know she does too. And she has a good soul. A lot of people give her crap and she gives herself crap, but she's got a good soul. You take a stop and good look into those brown eyes of hers, and you can see it. She means well. She's got a big heart. Sometimes she steps on her own heart, and sometimes she allows others to do it. But she's got a big heart. Not much I wouldn't do for her. Yeah, you sound like me, Lulu Bell. I haven't. My life's been like this since I was 2. You can imagine my parents dealing with me. I feel so bad. I broke cribs. I broke beds. It was crazy. Going out for Thanksgiving is cool if you can do it. Yeah, we thought about it one time. Last year for New Year's, because the fire happened, we had a Bob Evans. Yeah, Gemma does have a very good heart. I stalk. I really stalk her. She's sweetie. I just came back from there, so Jersey. She's a good person. Her family, me and mom get along. Damien's a cool kid. Love mom dearly. She's a sweet lady. She's just like Gemma. They're both like mile a minute. Both do the rambling very well. I've seen her in my bed. You're good, bud. It's all good. No, she's great. She's just like she is in person. There's a little bit of a difference. Gemma and the others, there's a difference between the two. But she's still her. Man, I worked at Bob Evans for quite a while with Cassie, and Thanksgiving at Bob's is like Pizza Hut doing the Super Bowl. Unreal busy, yes. I worked for Bonanza and Ponderosa during Thanksgivings for years. I was always amazed how busy we were. We were always pretty busy. It was, well, a lot of older couples, kids don't come around anymore and stuff like that. So we always treated them extra good, and they always came back. But yeah, working Thanksgiving is. I always got like time and a half for it, so I can't never complain. Until I got salary, became a manager, then it became a different story. The Christmas. I love that movie, Christmas Story. Yeah, the Christmas Story is such a great story. My dad relates to that really well. Pizza Hut. I like that analogy. Unreal busy. Mm-hmm. Ponderosa always had a buffet. Bonanza had a buffet. They had the salad bar that had everything on it, from some meat and stuff. I was the one that introduced Johnny Marzetti to the Bonanza and Ponderosa salad bars. They never heard of it, and I made it one day. They were like, "What?" So yeah, it's just a quick little meal. So they started putting it on the salad bars. Spaghetti with macaroni noodles. How hard is that? But yeah, I loved our salad bars. Our T-bones. When I worked for Bonanza, those T-bones were to die for. Christmas, Chinese food on Christmas. That's pretty. You know, a lot of people really do that even before that movie. So you'll shoot your eye out, kid. See, my dad had a Red Ryder BB gun. He relates to that movie really well. It's just amazing. It just freaks me out how one chat is faster, but the other one lags in video. I Yeah, we have Frisch's here. Well, most of them are gone now, but we did have Frisch's, big boys. They were either called Frisch's or big boys. We had a couple Frisch's, and then we had at the top of the street we had a big boy, but it closed down. It was one of the last ones to close down here. I don't know if they're ever open again around here, which kind of sucks. We got Waffle House, but our Waffle Houses are tame compared to a lot of the ones I've seen. Campus gets a little rowdy. Now, if you're going to go see wild behavior at night, you go to White Castles here. That's where you see it at. Frisch's would do the late night. Yeah. Well, now it's IHOP here. IHOP's big. Waffle House is big here. But like I said, they're tame. Now you go down to campus, it's a little more rowdier. Like I said, White Castles. If you want to go see crazy behavior, go to White Castle at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It's always a hoot. But I'm not too far from Ohio State campus. I'm probably about, depending on the day, about 15, 20 minutes straight down the street. Just go up here to the top of the street and make a right and just head straight down. I'm in campus. On a football day, you couldn't get near campus, so it would take you about 2 hours. Now, I know they played tonight. I don't know if they won or not. So I know Michigan won. My son was so excited. It's funny now. See, Ralph, you popped up on my YouTube. Now you just popped up on my StreamYard. It's funny, it's not funny at all. You know how many times I've heard it in my life, especially growing up in school. Hey, you shoot your eye out. Hey, Ralph, watch out for. You know, I never wanted to say anything, Ralph, because I'm sure you hear that all the time. But I always think of you as King Ralph from the movie. No, you may not be as big as John Goodman, but you're a character. I like your personality. I lived in Ohio and they have, oh yeah, IHOPs are everywhere. Denny's are pretty much gone now. And they would open a Bob Evans and close 2 down. Now, my old Bonanza down the road here at Graceland, it was at the top of the Graceland. It's like a little U-shaped shopping center. And when it closed down, it became a bank. Then it became a bank. Then they tore it down and became a Bob Evans, where it ran for a while. And then about 7 months ago, it closed down. Right after we came out of right before the fire. And yeah, I'm sure you have, Ralph. And now that Bob Evans gone, they didn't waste no time. They're going to finally put a Longhorn in there. So it'll be nice to have a steakhouse there again, a real steakhouse, because Bonanza and Ponderosa at the time, and Sizzlin' Steakhouse, we had all 3. Because on Sunday, we'd get to choose which one we'd go to. Bonanza, Ponderosa, or Sizzlin' Steakhouse, or KFC's. That's when they were good. Or Church's Chicken. All right, Black Bart. Yeah, I'm sure you heard it all. Ralph's a great name, though. How many got in here? 10 people watching. We'll start Gemma's video here in a minute. In about 5. Forgive me. Sometimes I make faces. So when I feel even kind of funky, the twitches get a little bit more noticeable. I love how people say, I don't notice it. I honestly, I don't know how you guys don't. There's Miss Cindy Lee. How you doing, hon? I wondered when you were going to pop in here. I'm glad everybody's coming in. Thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. We're going to start the video here in about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm going to get quiet for a little bit and kind of get my breath back. And we'll watch Gemma for a little bit. It's a 45-minute video. I may take a break here and there on it and poke a little fun at her. Western Sizzling. Yeah, we had Sizzling Steakhouse here too. Now, the one we had was up around Bush Boulevard, over where by the Bush plant, the beer plant. And that place was always really good too. Same setup as Ponderosa and Bonanza, basically. I'm doing all right, a little huffy puffy. I'm beginning to think maybe I was carrying something or pick something up Saturday, because I was already having a rough day Saturday at Para Unity. But there was a lot of people there. And it's school, so they're kind of crammed into a gymnasium and an auditorium. Even though it wasn't really full, it was packed enough that, you know, you were pretty much standing by somebody most of the time. So I'm pretty sure I may have picked it. Obviously, it was obvious Sunday that something was going around, because Dave, Schneider, how do we say his name? He had no voice at all. He looked kind of rough. And a couple of the other people were really kind of dragged out. I'm like, oh man. And then Gemma, of course, had it going around in her family. I was the only one, other than Saturday. If it went for I think Saturday, since I went with the attitude Saturday morning to go with the flow. Well, my body wasn't going to allow that. And then I'm sure there was something going around there, because I've been huffy and puffy more than usual all week, runny nose. So I finally started, instead of taking allergy medicine, I switched over to cold medicine. It seems to be clearing it up. So I'm beginning to think maybe I did catch something. Howard Johnson's been the Howard Johnsons. Those died. I would say the Howard Johnsons here started disappearing in about the late 70s. I don't remember them too much during the 80s. Nah, I don't think it's that. Yeah, a lot of people had it. Usually I know if I have that. I'm pretty sure I just caught a chest infection. And I always know when I get a chest infection, because I'm pretty sure I have a right ear infection too. I always get those with the chest infection. But if it is that, I don't feel as bad as everybody says. Now, I caught it last time. I didn't know I was even sick. If it wasn't for it, because I'm always feeling rough anyways. And I was already fighting an ear infection and a sinus infection. I can't. I have rare doctors, and a neurologist said, Steve, don't take those shots. They may not be the best thing for you. But that was their opinion toward me, and I agreed, because with the rocking and Tourette's, some people have had kind of reverse actions with them. And since I don't do too good with medications anyways, I mean, one almost killed me. So one did kill me. So I don't do the shots. They advised against it, and I agree with them deeply. Okay, YouTube, that's just my opinion. Okay, I'm not a doctor. Okay, make that clear with YouTube. Seriously, you do what you do when it comes to those. You do what you think is best for you. If you need them, take them. If you can take them. I was just advised and learned that it might not have been best for me. Howard Johnson's closed 45 years ago. Sounds about right. I do remember him as a young kid. Yeah, I can't even take a flu shot. The last time I took a flu shot, I ended up in the hospital for like 3 weeks. So Hey, hello, Pixie. How you doing, sweetie? Did you read that book yet? I would have had it done by now, to be honest. I fly through books. Drives people nuts. My son freaks out. He gave me like 3 books to read one day. He goes, "Here, read this series." 2 days, maybe 3 days later, I was handing them back. It was a book a day. Handed them back to him. He's like, "Did you read these already?" Yeah. Oh my god! Hold on one sec. I am so sorry, folks. We're gonna start the video here in a minute. So, did you get to enjoy the book? Have you started it? Yeah, I should say, Pixie. I'm glad you got it. I didn't think she'd get it to you that fast. That's awesome. And there was only one sticker in it. Hello, turkey. I figured you put more of that in there, but it's cool. That's cool. He gave you a sticker. Yeah, it's hard. You know, you gotta get you one of those leading where you put the light with the magnifying glass in it. Might help. I'm not muted anymore. I don't think so. No, I'm not muted. Nice try, Raven. I might have been. I was hacking pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm getting over it now. It's starting to come up now. I think switching from allergy tabs to flu and cold tabs was a big plus. You still can't. I see. Sometimes that's the only time. Well, I don't really sit still because I'm known to read a book doing this. So, and in fact, that's how I usually read. I'll sit, have a light on behind me. There's a light behind me back over here. I sit in that corner, or I pull this chair back there, and I just read. I plow them down. I tried. Yeah, some people, I just like to read. I'm pretty sure Gemma can pound down a book when she wants to. She does the audio things now, which is easy for people. You did that to Gemma last night, huh? Man. You did that to Gemma last night, ha! Playing what? Rocking. If you pay attention in the stream, you'll catch me doing it. I catch myself doing it. You don't see the bottom half. My legs are just all over the place. After about 15 minutes of reading, I will. Yeah. Now, see, I can't. It's like I love playing video games. I've got like 3 games going on. Plus, Giles gave me Spider-Man to play, and I have to play them in intervals of hours, an hour. Like I love playing Fortnite. I suck at Call of Duty, but I'm not too bad at Fortnite. But I can only play for like an hour at a time. Like I'm holding the controller, going, oh, I gotta stop. I gotta stop within about an hour and a half, and it's pretty bad. And then I hurt. But I love playing stuff. Reading, I just rock, sit back and read and rock. It's funny to sit here and when I was doing research at night, I was all over my room. And they can't stand me at the library. They hate me at the library because I'm always moving around. I'm not loud. I'm just always moving around. Man, you never sit still. Nope. They keep upping the tally on this thing, and I'm just going to be honest with you, folks. Don't live in fear. That's all I can say. Don't let this. I mean, be aware of it, but just don't let it. Don't live in fear. I don't read. I mean, I can read. Now, see, I read Dune in 3 days. I read War and Peace in 3 days. It was all right. Oh, I bet you did. But see, reading like that takes a toll on your eyes too, and it's just like sitting here in front of the computer. Well, sometime we'll get to the video here. We're way past my time. Start. Hey, Feisty Kitty, how you doing? I'm glad I waited. I'm just letting people pile in. Maybe that's a good thing, just to hang off, because this video is like 45 minutes. Maybe we'll make fun of her. Hi, Gemma. How you doing, Feisty Kitty? Yeah, I think we'll start here pretty soon. I think I got it queued up and ready to go. Let me make sure. I hope you're doing good, Feisty. Thank you for coming in. And folks, please don't be afraid to donate. If you can, it helps the channel, helps Gemma a lot, so we can keep this thing rocking. Pull this up. Ooh, I timed that just right. Okay. I'm super good. That's good. Meow, kitty. Yeah, Raymond's all wound up tonight. Yeah, you told me that, Pixie. Yeah, it's rough. And it's worse when you get older. I've been pretty lucky. Now, my issues are caused by, Tourette's and just other things. Like me getting sick, if I am sick, it's pretty rare. But when I get sick, I get sick. This one kind of lagged out a little bit. So maybe I just was so busy, I just kind of worked most of it off. Hold on a second here again. Again, folks, so sorry about that. I'm glad everybody's coming in. I got her queued up and ready to go. That didn't sound right, did it? Good to see we got 11 people in. So all you 11 folks, it's good to have you. Hang in there. I'm going to start the video here in a minute. I'm going to leave my mic on. I'll turn it off right here at the thing. So if I speak and just yell and let me know I'm still, it's nothing new. Yeah, we care. Did you guys see Laura on Anthony's show? I have to go back and rewatch it. I missed the live stream, which sucked, but I will go back and watch it. If somebody's got a link, and also, folks, like Pixie, if you got the link for that, you can post it on here if you know how to do it. I don't want to mess around too much because I'm all ready to go when I go to show the video. The video. Let me go ahead and get it up here. Okay, let's see. Still got it on pause, so there we go. And there we go. But yeah. Oh, see, this, I think this is just as she was doing SOR. We appreciate you too, Pixie. You know that, don't you? We really do. Yeah, I know you are. Why aren't you using your laptop? You should be. Do you have a camera on your laptop, hon? What we'll have to do is get on one Thursday night early. And if you have a laptop, you can stream with me and I'll show you how to use your laptop, and it will make it so much easier for you. How's that sound? Because you could do a lot better. If you got that laptop, I'll show you how to get it going. It's not hard. Heck, even if you got a pad, using a pad would be a little bigger, a little better. I just don't know what kind of connection you get on it. But yeah, if you want to learn, I thought you had a laptop. Yeah, we can do that. Oh, Windows 11 ain't that bad. It's not that bad. But yeah, I'll show you how to set it up. If like I don't know if are you going to stream this Thursday? I know you want to stream with Gemma, but she's so crazy busy right now trying to get things going. She's trying to get that cash coming in for Christmas. So, so I don't know. Um, but yeah, we can get early one time, get on there, and I'll set you up. It shouldn't take much to set you up at all. And we can do that. Just heck, we can do it anytime, really. Just let me know a good day. We'll meet on here on StreamYard and use the record one to FaceTime with. You can use your phone to do that, and then I can help you set it up. It's not hard. When you realize how easy it is, you'll be like, oh my gosh. And it'd make the screen bigger for you to see, too. So we'll get you set up, okay? It'll do you wonders of good than trying to do it on your phone. But see, I have a big old setup here. I'm just not using my second screen. I'm using it for the PlayStation only and television. Okay, does that sound good? Good, good. Let's get you set up. If you got that laptop, you should be using it. Now, Gemma's got a pretty good setup. She streams from her phone, and she also uses her laptop. So she uses her phone, I believe, as the camera, which is no, because she's got a good camera phone. But I have an actual cam. I sent her one. I need to show her how to use it, and she wouldn't have to use her phone. Unless she is using her cam. I don't think she's using her cam yet. So, Gemma, when you rewatch this, let me know if you're using your cam that I sent you. You should have it working. Those are, if you have a cam, it's super easy. Plug and go. But we'll get you taken care of. You guys ready for this video? Let's get this baby rocking. Give me 1 second here. Nope, that's not a good size. Let's go back to big size. There we go. And we're going to do this. Here we go. Yeah, just let me know, Pixie, you know how to get a hold of me.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing listener encounters. Listener encounters 15 is here. I know it's taken me forever, and I'm so sorry about that. Thank you guys so much for sending all the encounters in. I was really short on encounters. I had like very short ones, but I didn't want to do a video of like 10 to 15 short ones.
Can you hear it all right,
folks? That, all of you just bombarded me with them, and it's great. So here it is, listener encounters 15. Without further ado, because I am just as excited as I'm sure you all are. Our first encounter comes from our very own friend of the channel, personal friend of mine, Mr. Ghostdragonzw.
Oh, it's one of mine.
Or Ghostdragonzw. I just call him Ghost Dragon or Dragons. I don't know. Anyway, it's entitled Demon Encounter. Hello, lovely lady. This is a long story and took place over 5 years ago.
Oh, here's my
the
demon
encounter was about 4 to 5 months of craziness. This event also caused me to close myself off to the world for about a year before I came out of hiding. This and the Hat Man and the White-Eyed Girl were the only ones that literally put the fear in me, fear that still haunts me till this day. Then it's titled The Demon Above Me. Where to start? Okay, I'll start here. I had been living with mom and dad for 2 years after having some health issues living alone after my divorce. I left there as soon as two things happened. My younger brother moved back from Florida, and my recovery after hip replacement surgery. I'd found an apartment about 10 minutes away from mom and dad's. We called the area the Bottoms. It was a large mix of low income and Section 8 housing. Its street ran down a hill to the river. But in all, it was a fairly decent area. The place I moved into was a good-sized brick apartment building, which the complex sat on the top of the hill. The complex also sat by the graveyard in which my hair turned white and grew up next to. Side note, that encounter is in one of the other listener encounters where Ghost Dragon's hair turned white because of an encounter with the Holy Spirit. Okay, back to the encounter. And he actually says that like he knew I was going to do a side note.
Yeah, the encounter. This gray hair you see on me, I've always had it ever since I was 12 years old. I never got carded.
You know me too well. The building has 4 apartments and 2 bedrooms each. 2 apartments on top, 2 on the bottom with the main door in front in the middle. Stairway divided the apartments, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, with one set of stairs going up and one set of stairs going down. The entire building was empty due to the former residents trashing the place. I was the first lucky person to move into the building on the bottom floor because that apartment was the first to be redone. Now that I think I kind of set the stage, here we go. I moved in without a hitch. The first couple of weeks were fairly quiet. About the end of the second week, I started hearing noises coming from the empty apartment above me late at night. I'm talking like 1 or 2 a.m. they would start. At first, I really didn't think much of it until one night, while just sitting in my rocking chair in my bedroom in the front of my apartment. The second bedroom was in the back and the bathroom was next to it, so I could stand in the doorway of my bedroom and look right into the bathroom, just so you know. Anyways, as you know, I don't sleep the best due to my Tourette's, so I was just chilling in my chair when I started hearing footsteps above me. As I sat there listening and wondering, no one should be there. I saw the last worker leave at 6 p.m. So I got up and went outside to look up at the window of the apartment above me to see if any lights were on. Nope, no lights. So I went back in and went up the stairs to the apartment. The door to the apartment was right at the top of the stairs. I stood and just listened for a bit, but heard nothing. Thinking to myself that maybe it was just me being the only one in the building that I was just hearing the old place settling, so I just went back to my place and finally fell asleep. This went on for a couple of days, then it started getting louder and the footsteps started sounding more like heavy pacing from the front bedroom to the bathroom, right above me. About the fourth night, I said screw it and called the emergency maintenance number and told them I think someone like a homeless person is upstairs in the empty apartment. They asked me to go see real quick if the door was unlocked while I was on the phone with them. So I quietly went up the stairs to the door and slowly checked the door to see if it was locked. Nope, I said to the guy. He said just to call the police and he was on his way. He lives in the complex. So I called the police. And the maintenance guy was there in no time too. He got there before the police. So instead of going upstairs, we went to my apartment to hear if we could still hear the pacing. And we did. So since the police hadn't gotten there yet, he decided to at least quietly go and check the door again. And it was still unlocked. But when he turned the knob, it got dead quiet. I mean, pin drop quiet when he turned the knob. So, maintenance guy and I went right back downstairs and waited for the police. Of course, they showed up and no one was in the apartment. Go figure. The weird thing is, you know me. Like you, Gemma, I see stuff. I saw nothing, and me and the maintenance man watched the door and the windows and saw no human leave that apartment. The next day, while they were working on the apartments, the maintenance man put new locks on all 4 of the apartment doors. He came back every night to make sure they were locked, but it still happened almost every other night. About the 5th or 6th time the cops came, the maintenance guy asked if he could hang out with me one night just to hear when it started and how loud it had gotten, because each time the police came, the next time the pacing would be even louder, and this went on for about 3 weeks. Then one night, something happened in my bedroom around 3 a.m. I remembered the time only because I couldn't sleep and kept watching the damn clock. All the lights were out in my room. The only light that was coming in my room was coming from the top part of my curtains from the outside lights, which shined lightly across my ceiling. As I'm rocking in my chair, I noticed something out in the corner of my ceiling, a black mass which was almost in the shape of a person, kind of like someone looking over a chest-high wall. It seemed to sway very slightly back and forth. At first, I acted like I didn't see it. However, it must not like the fact that I was trying to ignore it because the shape stayed the same, but it started getting bigger and bigger. Being me, I stood up, looked right at it, and said, "You're messing with the wrong person. Don't make me get all up in your face." Then everything got still and dead quiet. So I took a step toward it and said, "Come on, bring it." He's saying LOL. So whenever he says LOL, I'm going to chuckle. Yes, I did say that. And like in seconds, it was gone. To say the least, I said screw it and didn't sleep at all for the rest of that night. I did talk to the maintenance guy that morning. He just looked at me weird, but I was sure he believed me by the way he was acting. Come to find out later that day that some of the workers in that apartment were seeing things and hearing a voice over the time they had been working on the place. I had also come to find out that a number of folks had overdosed in that apartment. I called the owners of the complex to find out if that were true, the rumors that I had heard, and I'll be damned. Like 4 people had overdosed in that apartment. Not all at once, but over a 2-month period. I do know that they were all within weeks of each other and right before the owners cleared all of the folks out of those apartments. Other than the pacing above me, I didn't have any issues with that thing coming back. However, there would be nights where the pacing would almost sound like stomping back and forth from the front bedroom to the bathroom. Maintenance was almost done repairing the apartment above me and the one apartment across the hall from it. and still they were working on the one across the hall from me. It was going for almost 3 months, I think, with me being alone in the building. I kind of liked having it all to myself, but it was also starting to creep me out a bit. I guess I was ready for some normal noises. I had finally heard that a family was moving in on the top floor above the empty one across from me. They were okay folks, friendly enough. About a week after they moved in, I'll say Dad caught me sitting out front in front of my window enjoying the day. He started asking me questions about the still empty apartment above me, which is now across from him. He asked me if I knew who lived there before it was empty, and if the complex had problems with homeless folks getting into the empty apartments to crash or hide. There are a small number of homeless folks that live along down the river at the bottom of the hill. There are a lot of forested areas along the river, of course. I told him that I didn't know any of the tenants before me and that I had been the only person in the building for the last 3 months. I also told him that I had been watching for folks trying to get into the empty apartments and it was all good. He then proceeded to tell me about being woken up by loud pacing from across the hall and that every so often knocking on his door when no one was outside of it. That I never heard. Anyways, I just told him about me hearing the pacing and had called maintenance and the police before he had moved in, and they just couldn't find out who or what it was. He said to me, I'm calling the owners. I smiled and said, they already know. I called and told them. They say it's just an old building and hang up. Listen, don't give it any attention. Do your best to just ignore it and it'll stop. I hope. He just gave me an odd smile and walked away. Just at the end of the month, I noticed a couple of young guys in the parking lot moving in. I'm trying not to use names. I stopped the young guys, they're in their early 20s, and asked which apartment they were moving into. One pointed to the apartment above me. I'll call them J and D. Both nice guys. Anyway, I said welcome to the building and offered to help haul stuff up. Out of all of my time living there, the only apartment I had been inside of was mine, so I grabbed a couple of their boxes and followed them in. As we started getting closer to their door, I started feeling a little off, like something was just not right. But I proceeded into the apartment. At first, I was just caught up in the conversation. Then I started getting the feeling something just didn't want me there. Me specifically. So I kindly told the guys that I had to go and not to be afraid to say hi. So I went back to my place and just chilled. Over the first couple of days, it was just a couple of guys above me going to work and coming home and hanging with their buddies. They weren't too loud and pretty much respectful. At the beginning of their second week, I noticed the pacing above me again, and I knew they weren't home. Furthermore, it started earlier than normal when it was happening before. This time, instead of 1 or 2 a.m., it was 10, 11 p.m. This is right before the guys would come home. The sad thing was I just kept my mouth shut and didn't say anything about any of this to them. Well, a couple of days passed, then one night Jay came down knocking on my door about 11:30 p.m. He had been off for the night and Dee had gone home for a couple of days. Gone home, I think maybe he means visiting his parents or something. So I invited him in and asked what's up. He said it was too quiet up there and it was getting to him. I looked at him and said I could hear him up there jamming. He said he was in a band and even with the tunes, it was just too quiet up there. I asked how, and he said it was to him like he was playing, but there was no noise coming from his guitar. Then he started talking about how late at night, him and Dee would hear someone pacing in the hallway around the bathroom. He thought that's why Dee went home for a while. Then Jay started talking about how he was a recovering addict and how the weirdness up there was really starting to get to him. Me being me, I was just listening and being as tentative as to what he was saying as possible. I assured him he could hang out a bit if he wanted, so we stayed for about another hour or so. We just sat and played some video games and talked. After that, he went back up to the apartment. Weird after that, I didn't see him or hear the pacing for a few days. Then one night, Dee came down and told me that he was moving back home and that Jay had another buddy taking his place. I asked what was up. He said it just wasn't working out. I told him to take care and have a good one. I watched him move out the next night while Jay was at work. When I finally got a chance to talk with Jay, he told me that Dee moved out because he kept seeing something weird in the hallway in front of his bedroom door and the bathroom. It was freaking him out. Jay said he hadn't seen anything other than hearing the pacing. I asked how he was doing. So he asked Jay how he was doing. Just said he'd been working a lot and hopefully his new roommate would be moving in about a week. I said cool and left it at that. Another night had passed and all seemed quiet, but a couple nights later, all hell broke loose. First, the guy that lived across from Jay came knocking at my door at about 8:30 p.m. He said that someone was in Jay's apartment throwing shit around and making all kinds of noise, but I wasn't hearing anything. Nothing. This kind of freaked me out. So I told him I'd tell Jay when he got home and not to call the cops. It wouldn't be worth it. He agreed and headed back up the stairs. So the rest of the night, I watched for Jay to come home so I could warn him. I must have nodded off because the next thing I knew, someone was banging on my door. Man, I jumped up like a scared cat out of my chair, trying to get a grip and wake up. I was yelling at the door the whole time, I'm coming, hold on, it better be good because I don't sleep and I was asleep. It better be damn good. Then I heard Jay on the other side of my door saying, It's me, dude, please open the door. When I opened the door, Jay was standing there looking white as a ghost, shaking worse than I do on my good days. I'm like, Man, what time is it? You look like hell, man. Jay goes, It's 2:45 in the morning. There's shit going on in my apartment, and the guy across the hall is saying he's gonna call the police. You gotta see this, dude. I'm freaking out. I looked at him and said, Okay, let's go. As we were walking up the stairs, the guy and his wife stick their heads out of their door and asked if they needed to call the police. I said, I figured you did already. And the guy said, No, you seem to be the man when it comes to this stuff. I'll wait around until you give me the go ahead. I just said, Cool. They shut their door, leaving me and Jay in the hallway in front of his door. I look at Jay and say, Okay, before we go in, what's going on? What happened? The guy over there came down earlier and said it sounded like someone throwing stuff around in your apartment. Jay looked at me funny and said, Forget about that. I wanted to see if you smell or see anything when we go in. I replied, Okay, let's do this. He opens the door and all the lights are off. It was weird. It was like total darkness. Even the light outside didn't come through the windows. Then I smelt it. Just gross, nasty, rotten eggs, crap, dead for a while smell. It almost made me puke. He looked at me and said, You first. I just looked at him and walked in. It was so heavy in there, like being pushed to the floor by something above you. He tells me to go over to the bathroom. He said to me that the door should be open. As I got closer, I noticed that the door is not opened but closed. I told him to back up into the hallway. I had a really bad feeling about this. My whole body was freaking out, but something told me to just keep going. As I got closer to the bathroom, I swear I heard something say, Go away, you effing goody two shoes. Then the smell got even worse, and my eyes and ears started to feel like they were burning. My eyes were tearing up so bad, I had to stop for a second to wipe them out and to get a grip on myself. So I started reaching for the doorknob of the bathroom door. I got this ice cold shiver down my back, which caused me to stop for a second and take a step back. Now, remember, this is all taking place in the pitch black dark. I was using my lighter to see with. As I took a step back, the door all of a sudden swung open, and this nasty of nastiest smell came pouring out of the bathroom, worse than what we were smelling already. I looked at Jay, who had stepped back into the apartment, and he started puking everywhere. I told him to get out and go back downstairs. Just as I tell him that, I hear, He's mine, you effing Bible thumper. He's mine. I turned to look into the bathroom, and I almost pooped my pants. I could see something just inside the doorway. I again started slowly backing up as it moved toward me. As I backed into the living room, flicked my lighter so I could keep it in my eyesight, it got clearer. I started to see what I'm looking at. Oh my Lord God, as I see it stand before me. Jesus, please help me now. Please save us, I pray, in your name, Jesus. The thing stopped moving toward me and started backing up, but it said to me, You effing prick, he's mine. And in a voice I had never heard from me, I say, No, he's not. It growls at me and starts fading back into the darkness. As I stood there shaking harder than I had ever felt, I felt a calmness, a peace, but yet I knew it wasn't gone. I also knew that I didn't have the strength nor the power to get rid of this thing, so I slowly backed out of the apartment and locked the door. I went back downstairs to find Jay all curled up in front of my door crying, asking if I was okay. I told him I was fine and just shook up a little bit. I told him he was staying with me until I got a hold of the preacher friend of mine who could help him get rid of it. As we are sitting in my apartment just trying to calm down, Jay says to me, I used yesterday. This is my punishment. I'm going to die. I know it. I took a breath and looked at him and said, No, you're not. Unless you're going to give up that easily, and you better know that. You better know that you're better than that. I know you are. And I say it's time for you and God to have a one on one relationship. You can do this. And he looked at me and said, Dude, you should be a preacher or a minister or something like that. I simply replied, No, I have been given a different path, and I'm good with that. Then Jay finally asked the question, Dude, what the hell did you see? I know you saw something bad. I can see it in your face. I looked at him and then out the window. The sun was coming up. As I looked out the window, I told him what I saw. Jay, it was horrible, nasty, just outright evil. It wanted you. You need to rebuild your faith and relationship in and with God. Jay, you can stay here until I get a friend to come over and remove that thing from your apartment. Jay said to me, I don't want to put this on you, and I don't think I'm safe here. I responded, You're safe here. I know that. I don't really think it wants to mess with me for some reason. It came here once, and I was able to shoo it away. Jay, okay, you're changing the subject. What did you see? Jay asked. Well, at first it was just a black mass, but as it started moving toward me and my eyes started to clear up from the watering, It looked like a badly deformed man, all hunched over. Its eyes were wide and solid black. It was looking like it was in a constant state of melting. The skin was literally dripping to the floor. There were times I could see bone, muscle, organs, all black and decaying. The smell was of hell itself. When it did speak, it was more of a low, deep growl. I could see a trail behind it of just nasty looking, slimy blood and guts. Just seeing it in my mind disgusts me. It sends chills down my back. And to be honest, I can't get the image out of my head. That thing literally puts the fear in me. Hold up. I'm going to call a preacher friend of mine. Hopefully, he can help you get it out. Because that thing seems to be stuck in the apartment for some reason. Jay, did you know that 4 people died in that apartment from overdoses in 2 months' time, right before the owners kicked everyone out of the building? Jay said, no, no one told me. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want to scare you or put you in a bad spot. So I got a hold of my preacher friend Thomas. He told me he would be over first thing in the morning. He also said to keep Jay with me, and if he needs stuff from his apartment, that I'm to go get it. Not to let him go back in there until he checks things out. Tom also told me to hang a crucifix on the door, inside and on the outside, then to stay out of that apartment until he got there in the morning. So I went up to Jay's place. It was quiet and got some clothes for him and his work stuff and did what Tom told me to do. Note, since this is so long, I'm leaving some stuff out, okay? I've already left quite a lot out, just a lot of the small weird stuff that was happening during all of this. So we just chilled the rest of the day until Jay went to work. The next morning, Tom called and said he was on his way. This was about 10 a.m. No sooner had I hung up from talking to Tom, the pacing and stomping started upstairs, back and forth from bedroom to bathroom, back and forth from bathroom to bedroom, like it was waiting. Well, that's the gut feeling I got, like it knew a holy man was coming. I just could feel it somehow. Tom showed up within an hour after his call. When Tom got there, we sat down with him, me and Jay, and started telling him everything that had happened. And while doing so, the stomping upstairs got even louder, and we were watching the family across the hall from Jay book out of the building and leave. I mean, they were running to their car. Tom looked at me and said, time to go up. Jay, stay here. Dragon, you're coming with me. We go upstairs. As soon as I unlock Jay's door and open it, you smell that nasty crap real bad. We'll step into the apartment. We go upstairs, and as soon as I unlock Jay's door and open it, you smell that nasty crap smell real bad. We step into the apartment. Tom looked at me and said, you feel that? Leave. Go back downstairs. I got this. So without saying a word, I left, closing the door behind me. I stood outside the door for a second before I heard Tom say in a loud voice, Dragon, go downstairs now. So I did. As me and Jay sat listening, we could hear from upstairs, which was stomping, growling, and at times we could hear Tom reading from the Bible. Then it started to get real quiet. Tom was up there for maybe an hour and a half, give or take. We heard him shut Jay's door to the apartment and come down the stairs. That poor man looked like he'd been to hell and back. He looked at me and said, Dragon, go upstairs and stand in the apartment, then come down and tell me what you think. So I did as I was asked. I went up, went in, and stood as close to the center of the apartment and just opened myself up. I felt nothing, nothing but calmness and peace. I went back downstairs and told Jay, it's clean. Jay had a look of amazement on his face when he said, thank you. Thank you so much, both of you. I said, Tom is the one you should be grateful for. Tom asked to speak to me in private, so we did. Tom also told Jay to wait to go upstairs because he wanted to talk with him too privately. Me and Tom talked for a bit. He told me he'd get with me later to discuss it more. Tom and Jay went up to Jay's apartment and they talked all until Jay left for work. Tom stopped by on his way out to say goodbye. I told Tom to go home and rest. He said he was going to church first to clean himself of anything bad. I said good. And that's how I'm going to end this. A lot happened. Hell, this could have been a short book or novella. I left a lot out. 1, to shorten the encounter, and 2, it brings back some effed up crap. I hope this was all readable. And yes, you, Gemma, have permission to edit it so it sounds better. Love ya, Ghost Dragons. That was amazing. That was a really great encounter. Super duper scary. I tried to do a little more with the voices so I'm not like so monotone. Tried my best. Dragons, thank you so much. I appreciate you as a friend, as family, and as an amazing subscriber who sent me an awesome, super long encounter. So our next encounter.
Okay. If you got questions, ask them because that was one of my stories. In fact, that's one of my more. That still gets me every time I hear it. Yeah, it was pretty ugly. I still have visions of it. It bugs me. It does bug me when I hear it. I would tell you that it was grosser than I could describe. It literally was like a constant melting state. Um, they about 3 weeks ago, I had a dream where that thing that I described was fighting with the lady in the light I see, and they were fighting over me, and it kept telling the lady in the light that I wouldn't see the passing of my father. And it was a messed up vision, dream, whatever it was, because I can't even say it was astral projected. It just happened. And this thing was just being mean. They would get to yelling at each other in this language I've never heard before. Um, it kind of like it sounded like a cross of Latin and Greek. It just sounded like a bunch of languages mixed together. And finally, a voice came down, and it came down. It didn't come anywhere. It felt like it was coming down on me. It was like a bass, and it said, "Be done with it," and something like that. And then there was a clap of thunder, and I vibrated. That's how loud this thunder was. And then it came back and said, "Be gone." And they disappeared. And then another big clap of thunder. Next thing I know, I'm waking up and I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, and my dad's opening my door going, "Did you hear that thunder?" So they heard apparently what I was dreaming, because Giles comes down and goes, "Did you hear that thunder? That shook the whole house." It was like, holy crap. But yeah, that story still lingers to this day next to the Hat Man. Yes, Pixie Enochian. But yeah, it was between that and the Hat Man. The white-eyed girl just, she only freaked me out because she let me know that I wasn't supposed to see her and that I would never see her again. Hey Hilton, how you doing? A quick hello and goodbye. Well, it was good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. But and before I start this back again, it will take time. But if that medicine is drying you out and dehydrating you, I know you can't use the liquid IV because it's got a kind of high sodium content to it. I do believe they make one that doesn't. If not, just drink your water, but keep fluids in you. I know it makes you it makes me go to the bathroom a lot, but just keep it going. But if it's drying you out and making you that dehydrated, maybe you should say something. I'm so glad you stopped in, Hilton, if you're still listening. Thanks. Have you seen that thing again? Yeah, just like I said in that dream. There you go, coconut water. Eris will tell you. I need to do a spirit drawing for you of what I saw on your Hat Man looking like. I'll never forget that either, because it was weird because you didn't see no eyes, no eyes. It was just a solid black figure with a wide brim hat. I could tell it was almost like a 3D. I mean, it wasn't flat. It was standing there, and I could see the hat go all the way around. And when it smiled like this, it had sharp teeth, and it freaked me out. I'll never forget that. How you doing, Eris? Glad you snuck in. And you always give good suggestions. And ear to ear, almost ear to ear. You couldn't tell. They almost wrapped around. So yeah, maybe. It was just creepy. It was just creepy. The that thing that the demon she just talked about, that thing, like I said, when I had the thing happen, it was about 3 weeks ago, and it was a very vivid dream. If I was not lucid dreaming or even astral projecting, I saw this happening. They were literally fighting over me. That creature or that thing and my lady in light were literally arguing over me. And it was like, holy crap. I mean, I was crying when I came to on my bed after that second clap of thunder. I mean, I literally opened my eyes. I'm on the edge of my bed, and tears are just rolling down my face. But they didn't even notice. They were too busy freaking out about these two claps of thunder they heard and couldn't figure out. Not a cloud in the sky. In fact, the moon was out. It was like a quarter of a moon or something. Any more questions before I start this up again? And I'll go back to chat too. But yeah, those were. So I have seen it again since then. I've seen something like it, not the same thing, but almost the same. But this thing that I saw following this person almost looked like that thing, but it wasn't dripping. It just like all the skin on it was sagging. Now I saw it clear as bell, and it was following this lady, and it literally looked like all the skin was just hanging on. It was really creepy. Okay, I think it was well, the lady in the light was putting up. What was weird was right before it said be done with it, the lady in the light was holding a sword with a big bright white flame. I still couldn't see her face or anything. I'd see her but no face. She's so bright, and this creature, this demon, was literally in blackness, and all I can see was it. And she holds up this sword. The next one I know, be done with it. Bam. Be gone. Bam. And they were gone. And that stuck with me because the next thing I know, I was waking. And it was so weird for those guys to come down and go, Dad came across. All of a sudden, my door flings open. Did you hear this thunder? It's not doing anything outside. What's going on? Do you think something blew up? The Jaws comes down. It shook the house. So I must have still some kind of connection. Whatever I did to piss, I think I kind of peeved that thing off with Jay. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I've had dreams like that before, and where I feel like I'm being fought over. It's kind of weird sometimes. Let me get this started again. We can still keep talking in chat. Pop it up there. Okay. Brown eyes, here we go.
Comes from a new subscriber who I met on SOR and who is a fellow New Jerseyan. I'm just going to call you Bill H. Unless you want me to use your whole name, let me know next time. Hi, Gemma. Bill H. from the show. I have a few encounters that I thought really might get you. First, I was stationed in South Korea in 1988, right out of boot in job school.
Did I
We were
freeze?
scouts for an infantry unit. We were always out front, and being that far north, we were in a place from many of the battles of the Korean War. I was maybe 5 months into my 13-month tour you had to do with Korea.
Was off.
At this point, in the summer of 1988, they had the Olympics in South Korea, but my unit was on the border during the DMZ rotation and missions. That required a day patrol and a night ambush patrol where we would go back out at night to the place we were during the day. Now, nobody's allowed to live on the DMZ, and only soldiers would ever be there, South American or North Korean. So, one night on ambush, we were waiting, looking, listening for enemy movement. So, this night, humid South Korean weather. We were waiting in ambush and we were in a row, 8 guys sitting 2 by 2, about 10 feet apart. We all started hearing rustling, walking, and talking from left to right. And then it was dark, shimmering figures. I thought 5. The guy I was with said 7, just walking right past us. Honestly, I saw flowing skirts and baskets and low tone Hangul, the Korean language. We both raised our M16s but stopped and watched them pass to the next group. It was 88 degrees that night, and I swear it felt like 50 when they passed by. When we got picked up by the truck that came to get us, our E6, staff sergeant told us not a word, and we didn't talk about it for 10 years. Next, go 3 years later in Fort Hood, Texas, heading out to the first Gulf War. We just moved and moved and moved in that war. We were told once stopped and went to ground, bedding down for the night, do not go into a village or break anything. Buzz, the driver of my vehicle had gone through a town and he hit a few, not sure, statues, monuments. As we went to the ground that night, we heard walking in and around our vehicle, an M2 Bradley, and almost like people were walking on top of it. Being commander, I got into my chair and peered out of the small windows we had, and yeah, shadows were walking all around the front, the only spot I could see. I immediately looked away and prayed for protection for me and my men to stay safe that night. One guy, about an hour later, needed to pee. I went with him just to make sure. I just saw that again, writing this again. I told a few of my fellow sergeants, and they all looked at me and each other, and I got, oh, it was nothing. Heat shimmer. 11 p.m. in the desert. What did they know? That morning, a town that was supposed to be lived in had not a soul in it. Gin. I have another from Iraq 2004 and Washington State too. Been and great things of the weird life for me. Hope you like them. Love the show. Bill, thank you so much. I loved them. I want more. Keep them coming. Definitely. I lived in Fort Hood for like a month with my sister when my ex brother in law was stationed there. It's definitely a whole different world from New Jersey. Thank you so much for the encounters. The shimmering entities, see, that's a new thing for me that has been coming up time and time again that I really want to look into. When you know that it's actual spirits that were once human, but they're doing that weird dark flickering thing. I don't really know what that's about. I'm gonna have to get with my guides and find out, because you're like the third person that brought that up to me in the past 2 weeks. And to me, that's a synchronicity, which means I have to ask something about it. So thank you so much again. And I'm so glad you enjoyed the show. This next one comes from someone I'm just going to call MG because I don't have permission to use his full name. I've had this one for quite a while. Hi, Jade. Everyone calls me Jade. I had to let you know about my experiences working at an assisted living back in the 1990s. This building was built as the first hospital in the small college town. It then became the first nursing home, then transitioned to assisted living after a new building was built. A lot of people crossed over there. Many of the CNAs refused to work there at night because it was so active. Since I've seen ghosts since a kid, it was no biggie to me, you know? The nurses' station was at the crossroads of 3 hallways. You could see down them clearly in all directions. Yes, there were tons of activity, from figures to the sound of 1940s music from the activities room. Probably the most strange and interesting one was the glimmer form. It was shaped vaguely human and seemed formed from swirling gold glimmer, basically a form of swirling large pieces of glitter. The form was about 50 yards down the long central hallway that formed the central post of a T shape. It moved toward me. I simply said, "I see you," to it. It stopped then, turned right towards an exterior fire door, and passed through it. I saw it 3 times total. I felt no danger, but it was always preceded by dead silence. Even at night, there was always noise there. It almost seemed to absorb sound, or like when the doorway opened to allow it through, it was to a silent place. I hope this helps or gives you insight, or if you have some for me, please let me know. MG. Yes, I definitely do have insight for you. I will definitely get back to you. I am so bad with emails. I forget about them, and they sit and they sit, and it takes me a really long time. So I do apologize for that. Thank you so much. I've never heard of the Glimmer Man looking like he was made of glitter. That's actually really interesting. And I'm going to research if there are any other encounters like that. There have to be some somewhere, because I call it Glimmer Man and most people do, because when you see it in the sunlight, it kind of shimmers. The actual looking like gold glitter is really interesting to me, because that makes me feel like it's celestial, and maybe what you are seeing was something different than what we're calling Glimmer Man. But I'm going to research that as I do and get back to you soon for sure.
Wait a minute. Wait, did I have my mic on? Yeah. um, Edna, this that dream you had happened 3 days after your daughter told you, or 3 days before? It just says, oh, okay, 3 days after. So you had that dream 3 days after she told you this? Let me know. I stopped the video because I saw that after I read that, I kind of sunk in. And you're welcome, Shelly. I don't know what I did, but you're welcome. I even took a pic of my arm. Oh, okay. You did. And this happened 3 days after she told you? Interesting. I'll have to ask somebody about that. I wonder if that's connected. Maybe you weren't fighting for you. Have you ever thought about that? Whatever was you fighting with, maybe you were fighting. Maybe You stepped in. Maybe you stepped in and were fighting whatever it is was messing with your daughter. If that happened 3 days after she told you, think about that and let me know what you think. Because that's kind of weird. Because I've had that happen too, where I was told something about somebody, then I had an incident. You knew you'd win because you were stronger than the entity. Interesting. Very interesting. That's interesting. If you get any more details like that, small little details that I didn't know, you weren't afraid. No, you shouldn't be. There was a reason why you went through what you're going through now, and and now it's your choice to make yourself stronger after this. I want you to know that. And if I was you, like I said, I keep telling you to keep your mind busy. Read, learn everything you can about everything, especially about what just happened with your daughter and just you. Just read. And also, I suggest puzzles because it keeps your mind active. It unlocks things. Always do when I feel like I'm trapped or trapped in a room. Sometimes I get trapped here. I'll sit down and do my puzzle. It feels like there's a key in there that kind of frees things. Think about that. Yeah, thank you. I don't know how good my advice is because I only go by experience and what I know. So, yeah, I'm thinking a lot here. Now, have you been able to go outside? I stopped the video for this, but that's all right. Have you gone outside since, or have you stayed pretty much inside? Because if you can go outside, go out and sit. I have a funny feeling you might have some visitors. Yeah, puzzles are great. Good, good. Get that vitamin D. Yeah, I need sunlight too. Excuse me. But yeah, seriously, go out there one afternoon and sit. I wonder if you're having it, or in like that early evening, if you can handle it, if it's not too cold, go out and sit. You might have a few visitors. Just have a feeling. Probably do you good too. Just don't let yourself get too chilled. Okay? Do that. Okay? I just wonder if anybody will anything will show up for you. I have a funny feeling something might. You might have to do it a couple times, but something might show up. Yeah, I'm big on sunshine too. I get trapped in the house. I have to go out and sit. But see, like I said, but a lot now that it gets dark, and I usually go out and do my Tai Chi. If I don't sleep, I'm out there about 4:30, quarter of five, and I go out back and do my Tai Chi. If it's too cold, I'll wear socks, but most of the time I'm barefooted. Um, Neighbors must think I'm nuts. I know a couple people that leave for work that early, and I know they've seen me out there. They probably think I'm cuckoo, but it calms my soul. But in the evenings, and sometimes I'll go out there in dead dark, being in the hospital feelings. Yes, it is. I know it, and I know. Believe me, I know. Well, the key there, and I've learned this too from being all the times I've been in the hospital, there is some true suffering going on in there. Okay. There are people that may not have great lives, and their passing is going to be a little rougher than most. And it's hard. I know it's hard to take, but you learn that there also is some people there. And I've always looked at it this way too. For everyone, for every life taken, there's another one given. But yeah, it's hard. Believe me, I know it. And when that medicine killed me the last time, and they had me in the ICU for a while. I'm surprised they let me go home when they did, but they know I won't stay in the hospital for very long. When I was in the ICU, it was real heavy that day, and there was there was a lot of hearts being broken that day, and I just could feel it. It was probably one of the hardest time. I was so glad to leave that hospital because when they said I could go home, I said, "Well, I'm going to go home. You can't keep me." But when I came home, I it was just like, ah. So I get it. Believe me, I do get it. Yeah, sometimes praying out loud does help. I've done it too. Believe me, yeah, I've done it too. Especially when I saw that white-eyed girl and come back to me and tell me I wasn't supposed to say. I did a lot of praying that day because I heard every step, every move in that hospital that day. I mean, everything echoed in my head. Every little sound, every little shadow had me on my toes. Yeah, I bet you're glad to home. It's always good to be home now. Personally, I think a lot of hospitals will let you go home because you heal better when you're home. It feels sucky when you're stuck in a house. It's hard. Now, see, I couldn't tell you to block it because sometimes I think I'm meant to see that stuff. But if Pixie could help you there, I'm sure she will. Gemma, if you can get her to stand still long enough, but she's super busy. She got a lot going on right now. But yeah, Pixie, she might be able to help you. Unfortunately, I don't have that ability. Now, it's weird, and I brought this up before. I I can block people out. I think you know that, and I know you've tried to sneak around in there, fill me out, and a couple people in this chat has, and I know I can block them. I do it to Gemma all the time. But when it comes to what I see, no matter what I try, what I do, no matter how much I try to protect myself, I still see it. So I understand you don't want to see it or feel it. Yep, she knows. That's funny. Let me start this back up again. Hi, Brown Eyes. I'm starting you back up again.
So this is a follow-up to another encounter from Javi that I'm pretty sure was either in the last one or the one before that. It says, "Hi Gemma, thanks for sharing my UFO encounter. I'd like to quickly share a bit about me. I'm a Christian and saved through our Lord Jesus. I was brought up in a Christian home, well, mainly through my mother. My stepdad was another story. I know that through the various encounters I've had, God and my guardian angels have protected me. Being a Christian, I know some things we experience in life can be demonic, but not all. Like I mentioned before, the Bible teaches us that fallen angels that lusted over women, read the book of Enoch, created Nephilim. These entities also perverted the animal kingdom, manipulated and or mixed DNA. Thus, I believe why we have cryptids, abominations till this day. This is also why these cryptids possess supernatural powers or magic like abilities. The fallen angel DNA is mixed in them. Since it's unnatural, they are monster like grotesque creatures with bizarre supernatural abilities, but I digress. And guys, this is not a religious debate. This is someone's opinion that they sent to me in response to people asking more questions about his encounter that he was kind enough to share. So don't go there. I know a lot of us do not believe that cryptids are created the same way that Nephilim were, or that any of this is even true. I personally believe some of what Javi is saying, but I have an open mind and I respect his opinions, and like I want you guys to do in the comments. So I live a normal life. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 23 years, and we have 4 children. 3 are young adults now, 1 teen. I've been at my current job for almost 22 years now. I don't suffer from any mental illness. I don't do drugs. I'm a social drinker and pretty much dedicated to my family. So I forgot to tell you guys, sorry, I sent Javi some questions about his encounter. So if you haven't listened to 14, I think it's in 14, it might be in 13. This is kind of from a while ago. So he says, regarding your question, if I sensed evil or strangeness, I never sensed evil from the being that spoke with me or the other 2 adult beings. What I find interesting is the being that was nervous and worried that they were going to be caught or seen. I would assume be seen by other person, perhaps the government. I would assume being seen by other people was its worry. Perhaps the government would pick up the UFO location. This leads me to believe that the government can and does track UFOs, and more than likely, the government was the main concern, not other people. Whatever the reason, he sure was worried and in a hurry to get me in there and get out of there, to the point he suggested I be taken against my own will. Also, why was the other adult being not interjecting? He just sat by idly. I got a sense that he was keenly observing every detail of the encounter. Yet, not once did he get involved. Now, I did sense something strange about the children. Not evil per se. I don't really understand it to this day, but there was definitely something off about them. Like, I wouldn't want to be stuck in a room with them, almost as though they were not really children, but I was being led to believe that they were, if that makes sense. To this day, I'm surprised that one of the girls showed an emotional outburst, considering they had been sitting there emotionless the whole time, just staring at me up until then. Other questions that I have, I being Javi. One, why did the being speaking with me indicate that I had to, quote, willingly go with them, end quote? All of the UFO abductions I've read or heard about state persons were taken against their will, and most of these cases reported Greys as the aliens, not human looking beings. Two, also, why did one of the girls state that I was, quote, promised to be hers, end quote? Was I chosen? Was I targeted? Three, why didn't they just take me? They could have easily overpowered me. And like I mentioned, who would have been the wiser? I would have just been another missing kid never to be found. I doubt B would have been able to articulate the events. And also, I don't even know if she was aware the UFO was there. Four, why did they appear to me as humans? Four, why did they appear to me as humans? Five, why wasn't I scared? Six, why did the little girl ask if they were coming back for me? Is this something they're capable of? Seven, why did the being try so hard to convince me to go with them? Eight, were the other children also taken from Earth or were they alien? Nine, was I supposed to be a pet or get married to the little girl? 10, would they have experimented on me or killed me? I'll end it here. Let me know if you have additional questions. And also, that was not the only time I was in danger of being taken. I have another encounter I'd like to share with you. That encounter involved a demonic entity. I was in the 4th grade walking down the lonely dirt
Huh.
road I would take daily to my bus stop. I saw this thing with my own eyes. And yes, I still owe you 2 stories. I'll get to them soon. Peace and blessings, Javi. Javi, I'm still waiting. Whenever you have a chance, I know life gets busy. This is a good size video, a big chunky video. Lots of stuff to unpack and uncover and discuss and talk about. I just found one more encounter and I really want to put it in here. I want to make this, like I said, a nice chunky long video with lots of substance to it. It says, "Hey Gemma, new subscriber here. My name is Norman, 37-year-old male from West Virginia, currently in Kentucky. I recently found your channel and really enjoy it, especially the encounters. I don't know if it's the case with you, but for me, my gifts seem to have been inherited from my parents. They're no longer with us, but I have a couple of their stories that I thought I'd share. I have several of my own, maybe for another time, of experiencing evil beings, seeing the future that comes to pass exactly as seen, always being shown when partners are being unfaithful, and other strangeness. Norman, email me. You and I have a lot of gifts in common. I would really, really love to talk to someone like me. I don't know if my gifts were inherited from my parents, but I know my mother, who's Cherokee, it probably came a little bit from her and my Irish father. And I think it just bam together. And here I am. So Norman says, back to my parents, starting with my mother. She was the kindest, sweetest person who was raised in the Appalachian Mountains of rural West Virginia. Back to my parents, starting with my mother. She was the kindest, sweetest person who was raised in the Appalachian Mountains of rural West Virginia. Her maiden name being Mahoney, she was of Irish descent. There wasn't much for kids to do at the time but explore outside, playing in the hills. Her and her brother were hiking in the woods when she said they witnessed what they called a quote unquote little man high up in a tree. He had a hat and shoes with square buckles on them and had a small axe. Later on, she had recurring dreams where the small man is looking for her, calling her by her name. When she hid and he couldn't find her, he would say he would be back in 2 weeks and he would find her. In 2 weeks exactly, he would come in a dream. This happened 3 times, and the last time he said, I can't find you. I'll never bother you again. And he never did. I've asked my brother about the encounter in an attempt to get more information, and he clams up, his mood changes, and he refuses to speak of it. So obviously that's Faye, and your mom probably had Faye blood, and they were trying to get her back. Okay, because that's happened to me before. I've actually gone into the portals. You and I will talk. Email me again. My father, when he was younger, was working at the shipyard in Newport News, Virginia. He had been visiting his parents for the weekend and was returning to Virginia for work, which was around an 8-hour drive. He was leaving his parents his 70s Super Sport Chevelle, and his dad said for him to call when he had made it there. He stopped to fill the tank before hitting the highway. and would always have to stop halfway for gas once more and would almost be empty again when he arrived. Settling into his drive and getting lost in thought, like how you kind of go on autopilot on those long trips. All of a sudden, he noticed he wasn't paying attention to the road. He must have nodded off for a second, he thought, kind of jerking the wheel when he came to. He had seen his car balanced on a monolith similar to the Washington Monument. Looking down at the gauges, he noticed his gas was very low. He looked at the clock and he'd been driving for 4 hours, thinking to himself, uh-oh, I probably missed the halfway point exit where I get gas. So he started looking for the next exits. As the sign came into view, he was in disbelief. Next exit, Newport News. He had made an 8-hour drive in 4 hours on half the gas it normally takes. Trying to rationalize things, he thought, maybe I stopped for gas and don't remember? Checking his wallet and still having the same amount of cash he left with. So he figured he would call his dad to see what he said. He called and said, I'm here. His dad said, here where? He said, home, to which his dad proceeded to scold him for speeding. But him doing the math, he would have had to drive 120 miles per hour the entire way and would have used even more gas in doing so. Wishing you luck and success in all that you do, Big Norm. If I had seen that, I would have just referred to you as Big Norm. That's who you're going to be from now on. So before I end, and I'm so excited about this video because it's really long going. Yes, I have a couple of these shorter encounters from Nordland too that I always kind of put in here and there. Nordland, if you have any more, please send them to me. But let's talk about the decapitated groom of Waterloo Recreation Area. A newlywed couple were traveling through Waterloo on the back roads and ran out of gas, and the husband said he would go for gas, and the wife said she was afraid to be left there alone. So he told her to lock the doors and lay in the back seat, and he would be back as fast as he could. So the husband left, and the wife fell asleep after a while laying in the back seat. She was woken up by tapping on the window. She slowly looked up and saw a sheriff standing by the window. He told her to listen to him and to get out of the car and follow him to his car and not to look around. She got out of the car and then remembered she had forgotten her purse and turned around to go get her purse, and her eyes landed on the gruesome sight. Her husband's head was sitting on top of the car's roof. The wife flipped out and ended up in the insane asylum. Local campfire story. Love the urban legends. Yes. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm getting a cold, guys. Sorry, I keep like sniffling. Let's do one more. Possessed woman I met at a college party. I went to a party at an independent house where a bunch of college hippies lived back in the mid-70s. They always had the best parties. The place was a big old house with a large front porch with chairs and couches all across the front. The house was packed and partiers flowed out onto the front porch. I was sitting on a couch enjoying a cup of beer, and a pretty blonde girl was sitting in front of me. We were chatting and her facial features changed and she had an evil look on her face, and she looked at me intently and stuck her hand out and said, "Take my hand." So I took her hand and she closed her eyes and said, "Hold my hand tighter." Then she shook like she had just grabbed 220 wires, and she jerked free and said in a weird voice, "Jesus ain't shit," and got up and ran off. I got the feeling she was trying to possess me, and she ran into my core beliefs as a Christian. I saw her later and she avoided me and acted like something was tormenting her. I wished I had the power to cast out the nasty thing that possessed her. No one knew her. She kind of just showed up. That's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for all of the contributions. I am now out. So if you want a listener encounter 16, send me your encounters with the supernatural and or paranormal to my email, GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com. Please be sure and give this video a big thumbs up. Got to get those likes up, guys. Please, please, I'm begging you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and spread the love by sharing this video. If you'd be so kind, go on over to Moon Bear Oracle, my other channel, and check me out there, where I do things with the oracle cards, intuitive oracle readings. I work with crystals, herbs, candles, gemstone of the month. I mean, I talk about a lot of spirituality over there. And again, like astrology, doing the oracle readings, channeling from source. So it's kind of a mystic channel, if you want to call it that. I'm a Christian mystic, right? Please go over and subscribe over there. I would really, really appreciate it. If you'd like a personal intuitive oracle reading from me, please email me at moonbearoracle@gmail.com. That's moonbearoracle, all one word, @gmail.com. Don't forget to check out the description box. You will find links to my live stream that I do on this channel Wednesday nights from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time. I pull one oracle card and intuitively read, first come, first serve, for whoever comes in and wants one. On Friday nights, I've been having scheduling issues, but you guys should still go out whether I'm on or not and check out Paranormal Chop Shop. They start at 8 p.m. Eastern time with my Sunny Bear Boo, right? And going over to Chad Smith podcast, Spaghetti Lee, Oracles and Beyond, Trippy Times with Josh Casey, Gypsy Road. I mean, I can go on and on. You guys know I'm head writer for Missing Persons Mysteries, so go on there or check out my playlist, my scripts, and that's most of, not all, what I wrote for Missing Persons and Mysteries with Steve Stockton over there. You guys know and love Steve. I know you do. Also, in the description box, you will find links to my show on Spaced Out Radio Saturday and Sunday nights from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Time. We own the night with myself, Big Willie Townsend, the fedorable fedora wearing sexy hair John Hudson, and beautiful thin Lizzie Borden Bree. We talk everything woo. We drive the woo train. We'll pick you up on the way, and we just go about it all night. It is so much fun. It's serious. It's funny. It's sad. We laugh. We cry. We joke. We mess around. It really is an amazing time. So please check out the links if you haven't checked me out live over there and see if it's something that you would really like. As far as my first book, Missing the Faith Theory, you can find links for the Kindle and paperback version on Amazon in the description box. If you want a signed or autographed copy, please let me know before you make the purchase. Email me, GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com or MoonBearOracle@gmail.com. You can also find that in the description box, my contact information. Ways to support the channel, which I appreciate so, so, so much. Patreon, PayPal, Cash App, Amazon wish list gift link for the channel, all in the description box. Guys, thank you so, so, so much. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Thank you to everyone just for your support, your kindness, your love, your graciousness. You're my family. You're my best friends. I absolutely adore you guys. And I'm just so grateful that you all were brought into my life. I really, truly am. All the birthday wishes last week, I was overwhelmed. You guys always overwhelm me with your kindness and generosity of spirit. Be kind to each other, guys. It doesn't cost anything. Also, be kind to yourself and never accept anything less than others treating you with respect, respecting your boundaries, and being kind to you. Smile at a stranger today. Always go in grace, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Okay, I look lovely. Okay, let's do this. This is who we taught to. Yes, loss of the old knowledge. Yeah. Is it really that old? Okay. Now, about your comment up here, this one, the first huge owl, then I'm going to get rid of YouTube. I don't need YouTube. Let's make this big. It'll make me brighter, but I'll be okay. Let me click this out into one big picture so I can see me. I might turn off this light because that screen's all white. There. It's not too bad. Okay. The first huge owl and then the little people. They said I'd never, if I told anybody, they would never come back. Basically what you said there, right? And then, yeah, you tend to make, yeah, you will. Nothing makes logical. No. And nothing's meant to be logical. They try to make it logical. And there's some logic too, the unlogical. That's true, Pixie. Yeah, I think a lot of you people in this chat and Oracle and that's followed her around, you guys may be a lot more protected than you think. But just remember, once you start dwelling on that bad or that bad comes around you, it's going to rub off. It's going to take a while to get rid of it. You got to acknowledge it and dispose of it. That's so true. We are taught to ignore. Yes, we are. Even the heart attack. Yeah, you did good, Al. And hold on a minute. You did good. And that's a good sign, that quick healing. They're always amazed how fast I'm up and moving. They're always amazed. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. It means you're a lot stronger than you think you are. Well, you already know you're a strong lady, so that helps. So how many we got left in here? 9 people. Everybody left after that video. That's fine. Oh, a couple people did. I'm glad people who stuck around. You guys got something to put into the conversation, please speak up. If not, sit back and relax and enjoy. But yeah, I forgot. I kept thinking she already did my demon encounter. But yeah, I think that was like one of the last things I turned into her. She got all the other stories first. That one, that and the Hat Man. The only reason, like I said about the white-eyed girl, that was just a freaky incident. And I got to go back. I was supposed to have a doctor appointment Friday, but I canceled. I got to go back to the hospital on the 27th. I'm going to get that sucker, that black-eyed kid, on camera one way or another. If I have to follow him, if he's there, I'm following him until I can't follow him anymore. I followed that sucker for almost 20 minutes. Felt longer than that, though. I go by process of elimination when I see things I can't explain. And that's a good way to do it. I shouldn't say it is a logical way to do it. You always got to look at both sides, because sometimes what you see may not be what you see. So it's always good to go by the elimination process. People, believe it or not, and despite all the things, and lately, like I said, it's still pretty tense out there. I mean, I do my best right now not to go out as much as possible. But as for humans, in most part, I get there's still a lot of good out there, but we need more. Now, when it comes to what I saw, yes, everything is not a demon. Yeah, not everything's not demon and evil, but there are people out there that might as well be demons, though, and in their own right, they are. Um, but when you see those things, you do question things, because then you find, even when you come across a bad human spirit, you question, is that really a human spirit? Because apparently, when that thing first when I first started noticing it, it came off as human to me. It wasn't until like the night I saw that shadow on the ceiling, because it literally looked like how the ceiling goes like this. It literally looked like it was hanging over a wall looking down at me. A couple of moments there, I thought it actually came off the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? It was weird, especially when it started getting bigger. And that's when things started really, when I realized things weren't what I thought. They were worse. Some errors, but so it tend to matter the fact that those. I actually think that they get demon jump sometime. Yes, I agree with that too. Flip chicken and smells good. Going to wrap it. There you go. And he, AK Willie, is just going for the cooking. I ate good tonight, so it's not going to bother me tonight. I don't know. Um, how can I put this? Sometimes I think people are just born bad. That maybe an evil entity took the child before it was even conceived. But some people are just, they were born evil. So you already think the demon was already in them. Smoked chicken sounds delicious, doesn't it, though? And yes, some people are just horrible. So in his dinner, yeah, he comes in and does that, man. But I'm actually good. I ate really good. Yeah, I think there's two types of just horrible people, and then people that are born evil. That I think maybe something attached to them before they were even conceived. An environment that they were conceived in could have made it worse. Anything. There's a number of endless possibilities. Defective. That's actually a good way to put it. That is actually a polite way to put it. Defective. Yes, there are some defective people. You have very clean. Yeah, I took a shower before. That's why it's all frizzy. I did. I do a little lately. I've been doing a little bit of yard work till I get. It's what I thought was allergies, but since I started taking a cold tab, I like cold alka seltzer. So I started taking those. I started clearing up, and things started breaking up even better. So I can always find the good in someone. I've never come across truly evil person. I can't say that, but in most people that I've contact with, even with ones that are things following him, I find the person themselves, to be a good person. Now, a good person can still have something evil or something not good following them, maybe trying to turn them. Sometimes it's the way I get that when I see that happening. They're so good that something is just trying to get them to stray off. But I have run into people that would just, you could tell this person was never, ever a good person. And that happens, unfortunately. I think they're always trying to, yes, they are. Oh, and we're always in a battle for our soul. Even the atheists, their souls are being battled over. They won't admit it, but it's true. But that's my personal opinion. Like that shiny hair. It doesn't look as good as Gemma's. Well, you can say it's how their brain is wired. If you want to get all psychological on that, yeah, or neurological too. Yes, I think sometimes something shorts out in the process. That happens. I mean, I know people that have had heart attacks and come back and actually have passed from the heart attack and come back, and they were mean. They were just outright mean from there on out. They weren't the good person they were before the heart attack, but after the heart attack, man, they were mean. And I mean mean. Yeah, with some. And I know people that have, like me, died a couple of times. And each time they've come back, they've become more cynical. There's this one guy I used to go to group with because I actually go talk about this stuff sometimes. There is groups that talk about people who have come back. And you would be surprised how many people have died and come back a couple times. Um, there are a couple of people that I've noticed from listening to their stories and knowing them now, they're never going to be the same, and they're angry, and no matter how much they try to talk about it, they're still very angry, and you don't know even what they try to relate what happened during that moment of crossing over or going through the door. It never seems to come out right. It's like their memory was all jolted up, but they know it happened. They remember certain bits, but they're angry. I think that's, and I think that a lot of times I think the calmest is when they're in that group. And that white screen, man, is bright. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You see, it does change your brain chemistry. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Now, a heart attack it messes with you, and it does mess with your head, especially if you get oxygen cut off as much, depending on the time of the oxygen cut off. Yeah, and it does change you, and not only in your soul and the belief, but like it physically changes you. Now, you're going to be a little different from here out, and I'm not going to lie, but you're a strong woman. Just don't let it get you down. Ghost Dragon, what are your thoughts on magic mushrooms and similar? Now, I've never been able to do that stuff. As much as I love the smell of sauteed mushrooms and stuff, everything I've ever tried, peyote is the only thing I've tried that didn't mess me up. Every time I've tried mushrooms, even as foods, I get violently sick. So I just can't touch them. And when the one time I did try them, I got sick, never got them. But I had peyote once. Somebody thought it might help me. I was going through a secret journey, or my own journey, and I needed to hit a level. The guy goes, "Well, I got away," and it was really a good experience. But when it comes to that stuff, I smoke a little bit when my Tourette's gets real bad. A little bit of smoke, and it's little. It's not like it was when I was younger. After the heart attack, I felt perfectly normal. After I came home, I felt very agitated. Yeah. This week, I'm back to myself, my music reading. That's good. And you're going to go through these kind of waves. But you're a strong lady. Like I said, the key right now is when your body gets to a point where you can move around and exercise with a little bit of stress on it, because that's going to be a key to build strength back up. Keep your mind busy. Because it's easy to let your mind go in a situation where you're just sitting around moping around. Don't do that. Try to keep your mind as productive as possible. And music and reading will help that. So does things like the pulmonary embolism my husband had, this person, yeah, I bet it did. Yeah, I bet it did take a while. Yes, being weak is scary when you're all, because you don't even feel vulnerable physically, you feel vulnerable mentally, and it throws you out of whack. Just remember that's just part of the recovery process. And when your body goes through a trauma like that, it needs a little time. You're going to have feelings, you're going to have fears. Just don't let them overtake you. See, that feeling of being weak and scary can overtake you. And just, you don't want that. But you have to go through the emotions too. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the important thing. Yeah, I don't think you are either. Hey, Roger, how you doing? No, it's okay if you're late. I don't know how much longer I'll last, but you're welcome to join us. Oh, you never know. I might make it to 3 or 4 o'clock again. My problem is I honestly think I picked something up. Because like I said, when I stopped taking the allergy tabs, where was I when I did it? I was at a friend's house in Ohio. He brought it back with him. I was in a nice environment. I was very safe and secure. And it was a great experience. It definitely helped me on my secret journey. That's what I call it. I had to do a little self-discovery. Living the kind of life I live. Because I'm not, I have a good life, but the Tourette's and everything and singing can't get to you. So it was nice to kind of try to get at a level where I can understand a lot more. And that helped. And I was home, and I wasn't home, but I was with a friend here in Ohio. It was kind of nice. He made a dip with it. I'm not a big guacamole guy, but didn't take much. I totally enjoyed the ride. Probably won't do it again, but it was worth it. It was what I needed to take that step. Yeah, that would be a good thing to do, Pixie. Actually, that's a good conversation for one of your Thursdays. Nice to see you, Roger. I'm glad you came in. It's okay if you're late. You just missed Gemma's video. You can always go back and watch that later. And that's highly possible too. But I'll tell you what, and I've had in the hospital, especially when I had the high fever the first time I passed. May said my fever hit 104, that I should legitimately not have come back. Man, the hallucinations I was having before I passed, now once I died, that all went away. It was a whole new experience. But up until then, I was hallucinating some wild stuff. I think one time I was hallucinating that I was flying over my house, and when I saw myself in a reflection of the water, it was me with, instead of arms, I had wings. And then, because I remember some of them, but not all of them. So I'm all good. Yeah, you are. You never know. If you start beeping when you walk through airports and security checks, you never know. They may gave you an implant. I have those two fake hips after doing all this all my life. And I love going through airports. When I went to my daughter's, I didn't have a problem going, but I walked through this one detector coming back. Man, I set that sucker off. I'm like, it's a fake, it's not, I don't got nothing. There you go. You go, really. Talking about food. I got a full belly. So plus I have Buckeyes in the refrigerator if I want something. So I bought this big tub of Buckeyes to take to Paranormal Unity, and I forgot them, and then I left my pillow at the hotel, in my room at the hotel. I must not have needed it because I've actually slept pretty good without it. Just not much is going on. Nobody's talking, man. I figured it out since I don't need YouTube to talk in. All that cooking. He's LA. When he first came on and talked about cooking, I'm like, man, it's 2 o'clock in the middle of the night. What are you cooking for? And then I realized, different time zone, dude. Anybody else got something to talk about? They got 11 people here. Got anybody got something to bring up? You never know what you might learn. You might even get a question answered. Somebody in here might have an answer for you. Yeah, Friday night stream was a really good stream. I was real goofy that night. I think I was so slap happy from driving those last couple nights and then not feeling the best. She had a good night. But it's rough going back and forth. When did everyone's experiences start? Yeah, I was about, well, actually, I think I was younger. And, but I really didn't start noticing it until I was probably 4 or 5. Good night, Pixie. You have a good night. And I'm sure I'll talk to you sometime. Get some rest. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. Be well, love. But yeah, I think when I really started realizing, because even at that age, 4 or 5, you're a lot more aware than you think you are. Everybody else may not believe you, but you know what you're seeing. It was probably about that age when I really started realizing, hey, especially when I was seeing the little things following the kids at the playground. Yes, sweet dreams, Pixie. Enjoy your book. I thought he gave you more than one sticker, though. What a cheapskate. He had a whole box of them. He could have threw a whole bunch of them in there. But they were charging $80 for a picture, so unless you bought something. Hey, Black Dragon, what's up, bud? Oh, I'm gonna cough. There we go. How you doing, sir? Happy Veterans Day. Man, we went to Myers and they gave my dad a card and a nice little commemorative coin from Myers for Veterans Day. Nice. They were so nice to him. Everywhere he went in the store, thank you, thank you. It made him, he was getting, and a lot of them were women, so that was making him even more happier. All these women are talking to me. I'm in heaven. But happy Veterans Day. Well, it was yesterday since today is legally Sunday, but I salute you, sir. And all the other people that are in chat or watching that served, I salute you. My dad is a Korean War vet. Hey, Julia. Is that you, Jules? Yes, that is, isn't it? Dragon, I'm doing great. Just relaxing and taking it easy. Good man. Good dragons. I've been a busy guy. I'm always busy though. I took it kind of easy before I streamed tonight though, which was good. I had a good dinner. Yes, sir. I figured it was you. I can't tell that picture anywhere. I'm telling you, these guys don't know what missing out on these women here. A cute little Aunt Edna and Jules. All you women are so sweet. Don't you agree, Dragon? The owls and the dragons are up tonight. Yes, we are. I think I even say that in one of my chats. Night owls and dragons. Yeah. But seriously, Edna, you know, if you get a couple kind of warm evenings where it's just getting dark, go out and sit on your back porch for a while. I want to know if you give it about a week. Let me know if you have any visitors. I have a funny feeling you will. I really do. I don't know why, but I do. I don't know what it is, the connection I have with you, especially when you start talking about, because I love owls. I love animals. I mean, I'm a big animal guy, but I love birds. But I love my little newts and toads too. Woo. But you lady have a connection. Just pay more pay very much aware to it. Let's put it that way. But thinking I'm not Gemma. So don't take everything I say too seriously because like I said, I only speak from my heart and from what I know and from what and then my research. I'll let you know if it comes back. I appreciate it. I'm not sure if it's going to be the owl, but something may come visit you. And it won't be back. It might actually be a very good sign. You do? Now, see, I live by the cemetery. We get the screech owls, which I love because I used to have one in our tree when I was married out in our front yard. There was an old tree, and Dad cut it down. It turned out there was a baby in it, a mama and a baby. Well, the mama didn't get away, but we were to save the baby, and people came out and they put on a tree that's right next to it. They climbed up like 20 feet and hung a new owl box for it and put the baby in there. And I thought, oh no, because I was holding the baby. There's a picture of me somewhere of holding this little tiny screech owl, baby screech owl. You go, you sure their mom will come back? He goes, oh yeah. They put him in the box that night. He was just a chirping. And here she come. And then we get the barn owls. Oh, the barn owls I love. You get them going, man. I can get them hooting all night. And then we get our bats. Because we get a lot of bats around here too. And they're great for the bugs. Now, what do we got here? I have a couple hours. Yep. What was really cool was when my hubby and neighbors saw him in the broad daylight. Yeah, that's a good sign when you see him in the daylight. Experiences as seen on experiences as on seeing things. Yeah, I think that's what she was asking Eris is when was you the first time you ever saw something and maybe realized that you were seeing something that nobody else can see, or maybe you and another person. About what age you started seeing that stuff? No, she answered that. That shows you how slow a reader I am. Bad juju. I have a barn owl that I don't like strangers on my property. Yeah, actually owls are very territorial, so it would not be uncommon for him to hoot at everybody that came across his path. Bad juju? What's bad juju? Talk to me, Eris. Seeing stuff or looking like me. This is bad juju. I can hear the nice thing about where I live, because of the crick and stuff, we get a lot of tree frogs and stuff during the spring and the fall before they all start to hibernate and they go to town. I could sleep to that all night. And my toads, when they're happy, sometimes I don't even know if you guys can hear them. Well, when I have the headset, they're probably hard to hear. But I know there's times I've streamed and they're back there just chirping and singing. I was just going to say that owl are very territorial. Yeah, they are. The baby owl. Yeah, it was a cute little screech owl. He was so cool. I didn't like holding him, but I had to while they climbed up the ladder, and then the other guy was going to carry him up. He was so cute. And I thought for sure his mom was not coming back. And we knew it was a male. And she came back that night. And then the next night we had to close off the street because she had knocked it out of the nest and was trying to teach it how to fly. So we literally had people standing in the middle of the dark with flashlights stopping from people from flying up and down the street so mama could get her baby to get flying. Yeah, I have fire belly toads back behind me. I love my toads. We have a pond behind the house. Sing all night. And the toads, yes. I saw a ghost of a little girl when I was about 10. She might have been around 5. Saw her crossing the railroad tracks and she disappeared. Ooh. Here are these guys outside my window no matter what season. Yeah, they stick around. There's very few that actually migrate. They pretty much stay where they're at. Most species do. Living out in the country, we have them all kinds of wildlife. Yeah. Now, see, I live in the suburbs. I mean, but not in the suburbs. I mean, I'm literally 10, 15 minutes away from OSU campus, Ohio State campus. But where I'm at is, well, the street used to at one time have trees. You could actually drive down my street and never have sun. It was nice and shaded. Not anymore. They cut down the trees. But anyways, I have the cemetery. And then behind the cemetery is a long stretch of woods that runs all the way up the Old Tangy River and, kind of cuts in and out. But the woods go back a ways before it even hits the river. So it's got a good versatile, mostly, your regular critters, a lot of white-tailed deer, a lot of white-tailed deer. And every so often we'll get coyotes. They'll come through. That's creepy because you don't. I mean, we're in like an area you would think maybe a little farther north or a little farther south you would see them, but every so often you'll see them coming up the river. Yeah, if you saw that during the day, that's pretty amazing. Black dragon. About 1 p.m. Oh, cool. They're building all around me, but I am all right next to the farm. And the little creek, we have a creek. Yeah, You said they were really going to town. See, they're going to town here too. And I didn't realize me and Dad got out the last 2 days because he didn't go anywhere while I was in Jersey. So he had cabin fever really bad. We drove around. We can't believe how much. A lot of places that was nothing but woods and farmland are now being turned into warehouses. I mean, these ugly, huge buildings and big ones at that. They're calling them conference centers, but these things are huge and they're showing up everywhere. And then, of course, apartments and homes. I would like to live a little closer. I mean, me and Dad had one time talked about selling this place and moving to Chillicothe. Chillicothe on its outskirts across, plus you have Mount Airy, a lot of Hopewell Mounds and Adena Mounds run through there. It's nice country. Oh, I'm sure, Roger. They're everywhere now. They're populating really good now again, too. And that's kind of concerning. Yeah, are they? It's insane how fast they're building. And I don't understand these warehouses because they're huge. And there's just like all of a sudden you're driving along and then boom. And it is insane. And I don't know what they're using them for. I mean, if the economy is that bad, why are they building these huge, huge warehouses? And they're huge. I'm talking, they're taking acres. And they're building more homes. And it's pretty wild because they built ones down here on 104 from me. They just popped up out of nowhere. And these things, they're putting them fast. And then right across from these big, huge warehouses, conference centers, they're building a community. I mean, literally across the street. So I'm taking whoever works over there is going to just have to go across the street to go home. But it is crazy how I took that over to the west side to do some running. And these people Hoffman's used to have all this acreage where they've been selling a little off here and there over the years, where they had to sell everything. They must have sold everything but the house, the property the house sat on. And right behind the house, they built those stupid big warehouses. They're huge. I'm like, Dad, that went up faster than I can even imagine. That went up faster than the Bojangles they were building across the street. I'm lucky enough to live in the Midwest, midst of a little nook surrounded by a state park. Now, see, that's the same thing with Gemma. She lives, but anyways, she lives in a great spot because it's all natural. No, it's all, I think it's state park all around her, and it's gorgeous land. And there's no build zone on it. So anywhere I think when I did my research on the area, the house they're living in now, and there's one other one that were like the first two on that land and the last two. No, they were basically two built on that land. They're not allowed to build on that land anymore. If I understood that right. And you can't rent it in where she's at. You can't rent. You have to buy the house. There's like there's no apartments you can't rent out. You can't rent out. You have to own. They're doing that in Illinois. They had, of course, the other homes. Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was going on in Ohio. And I knew my brother Tim said down in Tennessee, the same thing was happening. They were building these huge warehouses like everywhere. It's kind of scary. Because, like I said, the economy's hurting. Why are they building these huge? And I mean, they're huge. If they want your land, oh, yeah, if they want your land. My dad says that all the time. If they want it, they're going to come and take it. I said, well, at least you can put up a fight for it. Oh, he goes, oh, I will. And name a street after you. Yeah, basically what they do. I had to do a quick. Oh, back in your alter ego. Indians tearing down homes and taking for land and making fields. Yeah, the solar panel things. And see, that's another thing. Those solar panels, if they crack or get broken, they're toxic as crap. Can't throw them away. Yeah, they call them solar farms. I passed one actually on the way out to Jersey. It's huge. And it's kind of annoying. I mean, I can see maybe using your solar panels on your roof, trying to help your energy bill. Because I know people that do it and it does do pretty good. I mean, yeah, you can't use it all the time. So you have to have other utilities, but he's like, well, juice just I know when my father was alive, people in suits came, tried to force him out, sell out land. Dude, they're still doing that today. Chinese is buying up land. Bill Gates, Chinese and Bill Gates are pushing farmers out, buying farmers out. The property's big right now, and the government's snatching up. I have a friend who's a prepper, and he said that he believes in Alaska and like in the northern, like I wanted to move to Alaska or up to the northern territories. He says they're trying to push those people. These wildfires are them trying to push the preppers and the people that are trying to get away from all this, trying to push them back into the city. I said, oh, that's kind of a big theory. He goes, yeah, well, go look at how all these fires always seem to start at the same time. Kind of makes you wonder. But yeah, he says they come out to his house all the time. He lives in Alaska. He says they come out there and they want him to sell his land. They don't like him being out there by himself. They send solar power any elsewhere and shut our power off. Also, yeah, I have a few windmills by me too, Eris. And the damn solar. See, I don't like either one of them because neither of them really efficient. Heck, the windmills out in the ocean are killing wells and screwing them up. How long it took them to do that? People have been trying to tell them, oh, yeah, well, I guess it is happening. Yeah, see, that's the way it was here too. And this was a lot of dairy and beef farm, corn, soy being here. I'd rather have milk. Well, I can't say it's really straight from the milk. My Aunt Glad used to give us straight cow milk, but she would heat it up and put a little sugar and pasteurize it a little bit. But it was still better than the store. There was a few times I'd drink it straight from they'd bring in the stuff straight from the cow and put it in the fridge. As long as it was good and cold, I'd drink that. I love that stuff. Wander aimlessly. There are times I feel like that too, Jules. And I do a pretty good at wandering. I always have somebody trying to pull me back to my path because I like to wander off the path, get lost a little bit. Yeah, I know you guys have always had wildfires in the West. I get that. But some of those ones up in Canada that happened not too long ago, if you go watch the footage of the satellite footage of them, they literally all start at the same time. And it looked mighty suspicious. Fresh cow's milk, so good. And it's so good to make homemade ice cream with. Oh my God. Using straight cold cow milk, straight from the cow, and then chilling it really good, and then make homemade ice cream with it. Could ask for better. We have the technology free energy. Oh, yeah. They've had it for some time. That technology has been around a lot longer than you think, my dear. A lot. That's one of the subjects I do a lot of research about is stuff like that. Ancient technologies. Like I said, The technology they had before the Great Flood was way more advanced than us, and they still ended up on a bad note. The same thing's going to happen to us, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. Because they were way more advanced than they're letting us know. I can guarantee it. They were running off a power grid that was in the air, and they did even after the flood. But people weren't making money off it, so they started shutting it down. Got to make that money. The government needs that money. But that's my opinion. YouTube, that's just my opinion. Conspiracy. And they just want us to pay. Yeah, of course they do. It's the only kind of milk I can drink. It's pasteurized. Upsets my stomach. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm a two. If I have to buy at the store, it's 2%, and it's got to be super cold. Good luck. I tried to buy milk from a farmer, straight from a farmer. They told me he couldn't. He told me he couldn't do it anymore. They shut him down. I was so pissed. I was like, "Come on, man." He goes, "Nope, I can't do it. Can't you just give it to me and I'll slide you cash later?" Can't do it. I get caught, I'm in trouble. I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, they shut me down." Yeah, we're all looking for a path, Jules. I just happened to find mine the day they told me I was going to be on a different path. I wander off it quite a bit, and I think sometimes that's why I've walked through death's doors a couple times to put me back on that path. In fact, a lot of times that's what it was. But yeah, and if you haven't found your path, it's there. You just haven't looked hard enough. Sometimes you look too hard. People look too hard. Sometimes the thing you're looking for is right there in front of you. Exactly. Think of how many people died because they can't afford it. And you got to wonder some things about that too. I don't want to get too conspiracy here too. And Gemma has a hard enough time monetizing my streams. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It does run this world. Can you really not hear? He told me if he got caught. I even tried going to the Amish. But then the way they pasteurize it too. So I just wanted my meds cost. Yeah, and $600. Try. I was shocked on to find out what my dad, if he didn't have insurance, what he'd be paying for his insulin is insane. And it's insane and ridiculous. Yeah, and I'm sure that's just one of them. Edna, that stuff's not cheap. And there's no reason for it to be so expensive, to be honest. There's really not. It's just all about the greed. And I'm going to tell you right now, we all know the pharmaceutical companies are some of the greediest. All your food corporations are pretty greedy. And your drink meat, your pop companies, they're all greed. I wouldn't say all of them are greedy, but most of the big ones are just nothing but greed. Yeah, no reason at all. I felt my heart jump. I thought that something else was coming to get you. Oh, who's sweet soul? Hey, Vixen, how are you? Good morning. Well, good morning to you, dear. Greet all of them. They are. How are you, Vixen? Good to see you, hon. You doing good? It was good to see everybody last night too. It was a good night. Oracle was a good night. Now remember, um, I'm gonna go ahead and do that while I'm sitting here. Um, go here. Wait, let's do this. I'm gonna put up her premiere. Dun 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 dun. Hold on, I can't see anybody right now. Hey, I'm on YouTube. That's wild. Okay. Screw this over here. This is Gemma's video from 11 o'clock premiere Monday. So I'll be there in chat. Ouch. I'll be there in chat for that. You know me, I'm if I can be there. I've been late a couple times, but I'm usually there. We have Tuesday talk. We're going to talk about the scratches she got and those things that she took pictures of in her window. Man, when they saw those things at the hotel and she started looking at that during paranormal while I was visiting with them, they were all freaking out. I'm glad I left and got to go back to my room because they were all freaking out. We're going to talk about that, I believe. I thought she said something about streaming Sunday, but I'm not sure tomorrow. I don't think that will happen, but I don't know. I thought that's what she said, but definitely Monday at 11 for her premiere. Tuesday at 1 for a Tuesday talk. Don't ask me to do it like her because I can't do it. Then Wednesday, me, 10 to midnight, or however long we stay on. I was tired last week. And then Dad fell. I felt so bad for him. Then Thursday night, Miss Pixie, maybe. Maybe it will be all of us, or maybe it'll be me and Pixie. I'm going to let her do that thing for you guys. If she does Thursday, that would be good to have her go over what you guys were talking about earlier. And then I'm not sure if Oracle, I believe, will be on Saturday. So I will be on Friday at midnight. If she is on Saturday night at 7, hold on, I'll tell you, Jules. If she streams Saturday night at 7, I will be on Friday night. You know how it works. Now, hey, Ghost Dragons, who or what was that over your left, soldier? Could be anything. Mom's been around lately, a lot lately. I think it was because I was gone. She's been kind of hanging out. She'll disappear, and if it wasn't her, it was either her or the lady in light. And sometimes I think my grandma comes and visits and checks on me. And she passed a while ago. But I kind of get her vibe sometimes in this house too, because she did stay in the house for a while. But it wasn't bad, because believe me, Jules, if it was something bad, you would have known because I would have changed a little bit. I'm not uncomfortable, so it has to be one of the three. 2 to 1, it's the lady in the light. She's been around a lot lately, ever since I had the dream of her and the demon fighting over me, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. So let me go ahead and get rid of that. There we go. But don't forget that. Yeah, get rid of that. There we go. There we go. My tired eyes must be playing it. No, you're fine. There's probably something. There probably was something there. But nothing bad gets into this house, and if it does, it doesn't stay long. I don't let it. That's when I can be protective. But there's other people involved. When it comes to myself, it's not so easy. But usually when it comes to in this area, it's all protected. I've got the whole yard salted. I've saged the house 3 or 4 times and sage it maybe once a month. And I get it blessed. To me, that's more important is blessing the house. Saging is good, but nothing like having a minister come in and bless your home. It's good to capitalism. Now, I have no problem with capitalism. It's what makes the world go around. They just won't admit it. But, it's just ridiculous. You can't live by the almighty dollar. It never ends up good. I don't care who you are or how famous you are and think you got it good. It'll come back at you. You need to have a little fun. I just don't give it a chance, Black Dragon. Believe me, there's been times that some of these things I've seen, I'm pretty sure tried to follow me home. Once it hits that drive, once it tries to cross over my property, it's not happening. That's just my space, man. I will gnaw you up and eat you. And then when it comes to people I love, that's even. Either ghosts and demons don't find me interesting, or my ancestors are hardcore. It might be a little bit of both, dude. To believe it or not. Because there's ancestors out there that probably are protecting you. But there's something about you, Eris, too, that you're probably a lot more protected than you think you are. In fact, you may know it. I haven't really talked to you. Oh, and I appreciate the email. I got it. Did you get mine back? Yeah, give me a yell anytime. Just text before you call. Because with that, I sometimes I can't always get to the phone. I need to get a hold of Chris. May go to Kansas and see my daughter. And then I'm going to go down and see a friend. I figured while I'm down there, I'll stop in and say hello to Mr. Jarvis. I know my answers are hardcore. Yeah, they probably are, Edna. See, now, Dragon, that's the thing with me. When it comes to me and what I see with other people, I don't, either they don't see me seeing them, but the ones that have seen me, except for a couple times lately, they don't like it that I see them and they disappear. They go away. I kind of hope they leave the person alone, but I doubt it. They probably just go away until they know I'm not around. One thing I am convinced of, these things run in families. And sometimes they do. Okay, yes, I saw that, Eris. Good. Yeah, just give me a yell anytime. I'll do the same to you. Thank you. Always good to have, people around. I need to get a hold of Mr. Roberts, but apparently my number I got for him is no good. So I need to find out if he's doing. So Mike Roberts, if you happen to stick your nose in here or watch a replay, please let us know you're okay, or at least let Gemma know. I know you got a lot going on, dude. Well, we're going on 238. We'll take it to 3 maybe and see what happens. Get kind of dry mouth. If we make it to 3. We got 9 people in here. And you're 9 people, and the people talking in chat. Hey, like I said, I know you're just watching and enjoying or have me on the background. You got something to say, please say it. We'd love to hear what you got to say. Always get into a good, fresh opinion. Yeah, I get worried about him, but I know he's been trying to do better. So just keep your prayers for him, and does worry us when we don't hear from him for a while. But he's just like a lot of us. Sometimes you just disappear for a while and take care of what you need to and come back when you're ready. There is an energy near you, Dragon. I felt it. I felt a light tingle go through my body. See, I don't in order for me to feel, I'd have to, sometimes I get lucky when I see people and stream. I mean, actually can see them or in person. I'm better off when I can pick up people better when I'm around them in person. Sometimes I pick it up in chat. Certain people I pick up on. Edna's one. Lotus is one. You're one, Black Dragon. I missed you deeply when you were gone there for a while. Eris is one. Christopher's one. And a couple other people. But the people basically here I hear mostly Vixen. I get when you're, and Jules. Jules, I have a hard time with you sometimes, and Shelly. So I don't like it. I just, when you guys come in, I usually pick up what kind of mood you're in or how you're doing for the day, but that's about it. But if I see you in person, that's a whole different ballgame. And I am real careful about who I touch. Sometimes, even people I've known, there was a guy I knew for years, never made it a point, never touched him. I finally touched him. I saw what I figured I'd see. And sometimes I don't pick up anything. Yeah, I do. Eris, you seem like a pretty level-headed person. And then when you come in the room, I always tell you you're happy, or at least you're happy to be here. You like coming in. You like talking to the people. I don't know if that's picking up energy. It's just feelings I get. Oh, boy. Pick up your energy, bud. See, that's the thing. I get like that too, Dragon. I can't see it. I can feel it. Now, sometimes I'm like Gemma. I don't see like an aura or, something coming off you. Usually my big thing is when I touch people. Like I said, it happens sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't happen. But when I do, man, it drains me. But yeah, usually when people pop in chat. Now, there was, about 2 oracles ago? It was before we went on break. A couple before the break. Somebody came in the chat. I think it was a new person. Man, I had. Not the night that the troll came in, but there was a night somebody came in, man. They didn't stay, and I was glad they didn't stay. That person, I don't know who they were, but they had some bad juju going. I fooled them all. Oh, hey. I'm thinking the more open and accepting you are about your spirituality, and the stronger you spirits team. Yeah. No, Gemma will tell you the same thing. What's yours like, Jules? Yours is kind of crazy. You're one I have a hard time picking up on. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Shelly, I love her to death, but sometimes I have a really hard time picking up on her. And I try not to pick up on anybody. It just happens when you guys come in. I'll usually know who's kind of having a bad day. Let's put it that way. My spirit team didn't give me a choice. I don't get drained. I do when I touch people. It's like I pick everything up. Now, like I said, even if it's good. But like I said, it's on and off. It doesn't happen sometimes. Sometimes it does. I just go with it. It's not like I consider it a gift. Sometimes I just consider it a way. Something just letting me know that, hey, or, hey, this is a good person. I probably don't care around a lot of roses. I don't know if it's not that. Like I said, I usually, when people come in, I usually pick up if they're in a good mood or if they need to be there. If there's something, they are there for a reason. Most of the time you guys come in, I just go with the flow with you guys. I don't like picking up people. I don't like trying to get into people's space and energy. I love it when people try to do me. Edna, bless her heart, she knows when I'm having a bad night. She's trying to check me out. She's not just gonna, oh no, you can't. Sorry, honey. You can knock for a little bit. I might let you in one day. Don't stop knocking, because I may let you in one day. I did to one person. They kind of freaked out. I'm so happy that I didn't get picked for coffee when he was doing his thing. Everybody was raising their hands. If I would have raised my hand, I had my hands up a couple times. I was going to say, well, do her. do Gemma because she really wanted a reading from him. He puts up that wall. Yeah, I do. I got good at that. Sometimes people think I do it to protect myself. Sometimes I do it to protect them. I really do. It's not that I've had a bad life. It's just some of the crazy ass stuff that I've seen. Plus, I've had my share of go arounds. I've had my bad days. And a lot of you probably wouldn't have recognized me when I was fighting, when I was kickboxing. I wouldn't say I was a different person. I was still quiet. Believe it or not, I am quiet. If when I speak, Gemma will tell you I'm so loud I will shake the house. That's from being with a deaf 90-year-old man. Talk, hey, dad. But when I was fighting, when I was in that ring, I looked at myself in that ring like I was a caged animal, a cornered animal. And that person was messing with the wrong animal. I took all my frustration out in that ring. My dull energy releases chaos in some situations. Yes, Eris, your sneaky chaos is just everywhere. When you sneak in a room, you just create chaos, man. It freaks us out. No, see, I remember my dreams. Sometimes I have people think of me before they fall asleep if they have bad dreams. What a nice guy. I tell them, don't think of me. I might be the guy at the end of the bed biting your toe. That sounded gross. Sorry. Yes, I try not to. I try not to pick up on other people's energy. Sometimes it just happens, especially like I said, every so often somebody will come in the stream and I'll go, oh man, this person's having a rough day, or they're going through a lot. Like when Edna was out, something said, you might want to check on her, find a way to get a hold of her. Because I knew I always give everybody a week or at least a few days before I start to get concerned. I was starting to get concerned you couldn't have timed it any better. Gemma's got really good timing with that too. She always seems to know exactly when to call me or when to reach out. It's amazing. I mean, it's like, how do you do this? I mean, I'd be like, I better let her know I'm okay. And I'd start to text, hey, where are you at? What have you been doing? Yeah, and I can get that, but I still pray to be a better person because I know I could always be better. You can always be better. That's what I always tell myself. You can always done better. You could have done that differently. I mean, I'm not too hard on myself. A lot of people say I'm hard on myself. I'm not really. I just like to. Okay, well, maybe if this happens again, at least I can, maybe take this route and make it a little easier for everybody or for myself. Sometimes things happen and it repeats. At least I'll be a little more prepared next time. Yes, we can always be better. And this world needs it right now. Needs a lot. A lot of people are not waking up fast enough. And I honestly think the clock is ticking. It's amazing because even with what I've been seeing a lot lately, because it hasn't changed. I mean, I don't like me the last couple of days. I got outside to get him out. When I was in Jersey, I really did a good job. The only time I had a real hard time seeing the things I saw was Saturday. And I think a lot of that was because I didn't feel good. My body wasn't cooperating with me. And all I wanted to do was go with the flow. And then I was in a room with a bunch of paranoid people, paranormal people that are into the paranormal who are ghost hunters and go out and seek this stuff, there was quite a few people there. There's a Saturday, especially, that had things following them. And that kind of made it hard. And then, like I said, I may have, by the end of that day, I might have picked up something too. Because I tell you, by the end of that day, I was rough. Bless her heart. Gemma and those ladies, they did a good job dealing with me, but they were always on the gun. I'm glad they had such a, but Sunday was much better. And that was the day when things started happening for Gemma. Hello, Chillin' Charlie. How you doing, bud? I saw you pop in there. Yep, if you can't be good, be good at what you do. How you doing, chilling? How you hanging? So do I. Something awoke in me about 5 or 6 years ago. Awakened me. Yeah, I think people need to be more awake. I mean, a lot of people in this chat are already awake, but you're not like totally awake. Because I know I'm not totally awake, but I'm a lot more woke in that sense that now I'm aware of a lot more. And that was a lot since my secret journey that I made. And I do call it my secret journey, where I went deep, as deep as I could go. That had a lot of, we all have our hang-ups, but when you, like everybody can tell you here, when you see stuff for as long as you've seen stuff, it starts to get to you. And even though you have answers for why you need to see it and why it can't go away or you can't stop it, it still gets to you. I'm trying to catch up here. I'm well. My dad, know your dog woke you up for a potty run. Hey, I'm glad you stopped in. Matura complex is not good for anyone. I know you do. I know you beg to have your gifts taken away, and now they're all coming back. There's a reason for it. And a lot of it has to do with the veil is lifting, it's thinning. You're going to need those gifts. It's probably going to protect you. I appreciate it, Chillin'. I'm glad you popped in. Said hey. Everybody has gifts. Everybody has the ability of one form or another. That is a fact. Well, actually, everybody has abilities. It's just because we don't use enough of our brains to tap into them all. It's just some people given a little more space than other. Believe me. And excuse me for the hiccups in the belt. And sometimes the gift, you may not think you have your gift, but you may be using your gift the whole time and not even realizing it. At least now, I'm letting Jules and Dragon talk. At least now I have people to talk to these days. Yeah, I am too. I like to think Gemma, but Sean G's the one that really got me talking about my experiences. And then Gemma just opened me up even more, which was nice because I needed that. She came along at the right time. It could be. And then have you found anyone to help? It's sometimes not understanding is when you understand. I learned that. Sounds goofy, but it's true. Sometimes when you just let it go, then you start to understand a lot better. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes it takes a while. Yeah. And Steve, I think he had his good points. Does anybody know if he's still on? I don't even know if he's still, every so often I see his name pop up here and there, but I've seen that since I was a young dragon. Since I was young dragon. Okay. And well, now that I'm up, I'm going to have a cup. I had my first cup was a mocha, and then the cup that I was drinking earlier was just good old chocolate, hot chocolate. Sounded good, and it was chilly enough for it. Yes, you are. All of you are loved here a lot more than I think you realized. And Gemma knows when you guys don't show for a while. She pays attention a lot more than people. She may be slow in answering her email. And I'm sorry I forgot to remind her through your email. I was going through a lot too. But she said she'd get to it. And I'll remind her again this time because I wrote it down. and, but yeah, she can be a little slow in responding back. But she got a lot going on at home, so just bear with her. 36 Fahrenheit here. Yeah, I think when I last looked, yeah, we're 35. I knew we were around that too. Man, it wasn't a bad day, but it was a chilly day. The sky looked like it was going to snow a couple times, but no. Yeah, they are redirected if you ignore them or shut them off. I don't think you really shut them off. I just think that it's like when you go blind and your other senses get better. I think that's the same sense in the same way. You shut your gift off, or you don't accept it, or you don't understand it, or you just ignore it. It comes out in other ways. Now, see, Dragon, there you go. You said you had a father that embraced it. See, a lot of us weren't that lucky. You know, when I told him, when I came home and told my parents a couple times about the Hat Man, when I talked to my dad in the car about the Hat Man, he didn't believe me. He thought I was hallucinating because I never sleep and rocked all night. My mom, I think, did a little bit. The only one that ever showed that they believed me and maybe gave me a little guidance was my grandma. Well, my aunt, my grandma, my mom's mom, more or less my mom's mom, and my grandpa Griffey. But he passed when I was like 8 years old. I love that man. Man, he had the best stories. Now, when it comes to reading people, I pick up on people real bad. That is something I've always done. I can walk into a room and automatically know who to avoid, which makes it nice. A lot of people go, "Why are you sitting in a corner?" Well, I don't think I want to talk about half these people. And it's been like that. I've gone into rooms where it's like, I don't want to talk to anybody here. And that's pretty bad. I usually end up making it work. That, me too. It's like, no, I don't want to deal with half this crowd. And I know Gemma gets it really bad. But she's really good about just taking that step forward, even when she knows she does, she goes forward, even when she doesn't want to. And that's good too. But sometimes when I get in a room like that, when it's like half that room, you know, you don't really want to. Well, let's put it this way: it's not that you want to talk to him; you just know that the conversations are going to be useless and just, hello, how are you? Bye. Basically, you can feel that. Like, I don't want to really talk to you. I don't want to talk to you either. Kind of feel. I can I can read people, and sometimes it feels like it's being scared at me, like it is being screamed at me. Yeah, I've been in that too, where someone's yelling in my ears, "Don't go near that person." Sometimes I have to leave a crowded room. It's too much. I've done that. I've had to leave concerts because of that. Believe it or not. It's like, nope, I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, I don't mind. I like small talk. Don't get me wrong. But have you ever had that small talk where it was just like awkward right off the rap? You know, as soon as that word comes out, you know it's going to be awkward the whole conversation. That's when I get those feelings with some of these people. It's like, maybe I just don't want to experience that right now. What's amazing is I'm probably like a number of you in this chat. You're standing in line, all of a sudden a stranger just starts talking to you and telling you everything. That happens to me a lot. And I'm okay with it. I always say, well, I'm glad I was here to listen to you. They always freak out when I say it. It's like, well, you're so kind. I go, well, you're a stranger and you just told me everything about your life. God bless you. Try to have a good day. I was sent to a church as a child. Left that church at 14 and started studying the religions. Yeah, classical church. I was told I would find it because of mystic. Yeah, that makes sense, Vixen, actually. I don't tell people we have gifts. I say we were all nuts and we're the sane ones. You guys are the crazy ones, as we always tell people. It's not a gift. I'm sane and you're not. That's mean, isn't it? Then it is a gift. You've learned the art of fake social engagement. Well, see, here's the thing with me. I'm that guy that always is pretty good, even though I don't want to talk or I go sit in the corner. You approach me, I'm going to be polite. Even if I may get a bad vibe, I'm going to be polite. I'm going to be courteous because that's the way I am. I've had people who hate me deeply get stuck in the same room with me and always say, yes, you're a lot politer than I thought. I go, why wouldn't I be? I mean, just because we don't like each other doesn't mean we can't be respectful of each other. You know, I never engage in it, and sometimes it's good just not to. I'm I'm leaving the Episcopal Church, and yeah, I know you're into the Celtic, and that's all right. And you might discover something there that may make you move even from there. It's a growth process. I studied, like I said, I'm. It's pretty funny because I know the Bible. I'm not very good at reciting stuff out of books. You would believe I spent a lot of time in the library, especially not too long ago. Actually, I spent more time in the library before I started doing all this. I still get a time to get in there, but what I'm getting at is I can I have all this knowledge, but I'm not good at requoting, and I'm not very because of my issues. Everybody says I do good, and I know I don't do bad, but I'm not very articulate. I've said this before. So I let the knowledge come out the best way it can. But I learned when I was researching, when but what I was getting at is, like I said, I've always been fascinated with the biblical stuff. That's why I wanted to become a minister or a preacher. And then when my dad handed me Chariot of the Gods in the Bible, that just opened a door for me, made me research all the religions, everything I can learn about demonology, UFOs to a point. I kind of gave up on that because after years of researching, I kind of developed my own little thoughts about aliens and the biblical stuff and stuff like that. Just do your best. That's what I do. Just do your best. Vixen, not Vixen. Vixen, I did the same thing and still do. Yeah, no, you guys. And honestly, I'm a Presbyterian. That's what I was raised as. No, Presbyterian. Protestant. I think my mom was Protestant and my dad was Presbyterian, if I remember right. I don't believe I've never known. Sanity is its own conception. What you might find sane, somebody else might find insane. I'm gonna say something about that. You know, after he rose, came back the third day, Jesus. A lot of people believe that there is legends all across North America, Alaska, Canada, Asia, of a white man, well, an olive skinned man who roamed those lands and preached love and peace. Basically, what he preached before he died. So, could it have been Jesus? And I know even in that time, he was able to get to these places. He did travel. See, they don't tell you everything in the Bible. That's why it's important to read those scrolls and the ancient texts. All the missing books they've taken out of the Bible. There's a reason they took them out of the Bible. No, 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 no. What I do? What I do? Not that I worry about it. This is just my beliefs, things that I've heard over the years. When asked on forums, race and always say race unknown. Yeah, I don't. I'm not really worried about the race thing with Jesus. I'm more about the words he preached and spoke. Those are more important to me. I don't care if he was black, white, purple with gray polka dots. It's what he preached, what he talked about. I have my views. Everybody has their views. This is why I watch trying to talk about this stuff in here because I don't want to offend anybody and I don't want to be offended, but I don't care less. I just want everybody to be happy. That color is irrelevant. It's what makes a person on the inside. It's not what they are that expresses them. It's the actions they do. Yeah, why not? There's a lot of things you may not know about. Some history, some of the stuff is stuff that I've researched. And it's possible. Hey, they said the Egyptians were here. There's records now that they're starting to realize the Egyptians may have even been here before Columbus, before the Vikings. But that's my opinion. That's just from the stuff that I've gathered and put together myself. And that's always changing too. I'm always willing to change my mind, but right now, I've heard it, I've seen it, I've heard enough stories. And you know what? To each have their own beliefs. Find what makes you happy. Yeah. I don't say screw anybody else because I'm always willing to hear everybody's story. I like looking at both sides. It's who I am. If you got something to say it. Say it to me logically, and because I'm not very well spoken anyway. So just making sure I can understand what you're trying to tell me. I'll listen. Might even change my mind. Maybe you won't. No, the relative to oh, you're good. You're good. You're good, Eris. I like you anyways. And like I said, it is my opinion, stuff that I've researched over the years, and I've just formed my opinion. That's why I tell people, and that's when I send the research. When I was doing research for other people, I always tell them, look over my research and form. And if you have to do extra research on top of my research, to form your own opinion. Don't take my opinion. Do your own research and form your own opinion. So I would send these guys, and every time I send these guys all this research I've done, I would always put that at the bottom of the letter. You know, you don't have to do check. I gave you sources to go to. If you don't like my opinion, if you don't want to look at it this way, here's what you asked for. Here's the resources. You go form your own opinion. I did my part. They paid me good. I kind of miss it. I every so often I get a request to go look at something, and I get a little nickel out of it. But you know what I'm saying. But I pretty much don't do the research anymore. My concentration has, ever since the fire, has been Pop in the house, and my kids and my grandkids, and one other person who I care deeply for. So those all come first, and then all you wonderful folks. But yeah, I'm always listening. That's why I go check out a lot of channels and read a lot of stuff. Yes. Oh, I agree, Black Dragon. Hey, if you can't be happy, don't come over and try to make me miserable. Basically, what you said there. And I agree with that. Did Anna cross the question? I had to set the text down. They were way have been lied to and shocking. I had to take it all in before I continue. Yes, sometimes you do. You're gonna find out in a lot of those texts, things are not what they've told us. Now, as much as the Bible is, and a lot of because not only the Bible has been changed over the year, all religious texts have been played with. It's important to go back and look at the old stuff. You got to fill in those gaps, and you got to look at all the other different ways. You're going to find it all will eventually go right back to where you started. One question was, how did Cain and Abel have wives unless they? There's a couple of theories about that. And some of it has to do with the leftovers of the giants. No, the part of the giants. You got to remember there was a lot more, and this is where I think there's a lot more going on. Now, when I was younger, if you'd asked me that, I said, "Well, didn't you know why God was working on one side of the earth? Man was going through revolution on the other side." That's the way I thought then. But why couldn't Adam and Eve exist? And why they were doing their thing, man was actually evolving also somewhere else. But the Cain and Abel thing, that's a conversation I would love to have here. But that's a conversation I would have to go to Rumble to have. And I'd have to pull out all my research. And it's actually pretty basic. I believe there's a whole story behind it. But I think there was more people left behind from the flood. You're going to find that the theory is that, yes, Noah and his family were supposed to be the only ones to survive the flood. It's highly possible they weren't. And it was highly possible that not all the giants were washed away either. I mean, there's a story of one hanging on to the ark the whole time. Been riding on the side of the ark. He was so big. Yes. If you can't question. Now, that's a good quote. And I'll just leave it at that because it makes sense. How did Cain not know what death was when they slaughtered the sheep? Boy, did his face turn red when he was so angry. Who, me? I'm trying to catch up on all the chat. You guys are cruising now. Heck, I'm just going to let you guys talk. I'll take a break. You guys are rocking. No more political now. Yeah, we got to be careful. Yes, that's correct. They didn't have kids until after that. It was just Cain and Abel first. Oh, there was a lot of questions. So I still have a lot of questions, and you're good there. Man, I'm going to have to invite Thomas in here one night, see if I can get him to come on. Yes, they're all good, great. They're all great Christians. See, I'm not when it comes to Vatican City and all that, and the Catholics. I did when I was, I think it was 18, 19 years old. I literally spent like 4 months just going down the Catholic rabbit hole. And I have a lot of questions about that faith too. And why do they think they have some kind of right to hide the stuff they're hiding? Who are they to be our protectors when I don't want to go there? I don't want to go there because they've got a lot of information down those vaults that we have a right to know, a very much right to know. I do love to see what there's. I would love to spend. Heck, all I need is maybe 10 years in there because there's a lot, and probably still not long enough. I've never been kicked out of a church. I wasn't real when I went and saw a Catholic mass. If there's any Catholics there, I was a little freaked out by their stuff. It was like, I know I've been to a synagogue, been to Catholic. They're kind of the same. It's a lot of ritual kind of things goes on that take place during those services. Same with the Muslims. I guess the Protestants are no different. Do we come in, do a little Bible versing, and then take breaks with a couple hymns, and then you get your preacher to do his sermon, then maybe one or two hymns and closing statements for the day, and they're done. Yeah, no, his sisters or nothing came into after the blow came. That's right too. It says it doesn't tell you if there were people already out in the world. It just tells you that they were cast out. I'm a Christian, but I'm not Catholic. I know some great Catholics. I'm not knocking the Catholic faith. I'm knocking its Vatican. And I know there's good priests in that Vatican because I've talked to them about demonology and stuff like that. But the Catholic Pope and all that, I have a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. The weird stuff going on right now over there, anyways. Just as weird as what's going on around us. Your mother was, your father was a Catholic, and your mom. That's a good combination. And your oldest brother followed Buddha ism. I take issues with isms. Isms are everywhere. You better get used to it. Isms are going to be a big thing now. What time we got here, folks? 3:20. I thought we were going to stop at 3:00, folks. I'm going to have to cut this short, man. I'm going to cut it short. We've gone, what, 3.5, almost 3.5 hours now? That's awesome. I love it when we do this because I really didn't realize almost an hour has passed since I checked time last time. I'm glad you guys are having such a good conversation. But I am going to cut it short here. Now I got to get up and do some things in the morning, even though it's Sunday. I want to get my stuff done early so I can enjoy my Sunday afternoon. I want to play some Spider-Man. I love it when you guys get these conversations going. It's so awesome. I can't remember his name, but he is in chat sometimes. A pagan. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of him either. I'm wide awake. Yeah, I am too. But I'm starting to wheezy here, and I do need to get up and start moving around before I try to lay down. I'm getting restless in my chair. I'm surprised this old gaming chair has lasted because, man, I've sat in this chair and just gone to town. Fell asleep in this chair. I woke up in this chair. I know I had to have been rocking it because I was clear on the other side of the room because I was on wheels. You rarely catch me. I know it's because I do those late night shows. Now remember, Chilla Charlie, too. I'm on Wednesday nights from 10 to midnight. So if you can't catch me this late, you can always catch me then. I love having you guys. It's great. These conversations always turn out to be good nights. And you know it's a good night when you realize an hour had passed and you didn't realize an hour had passed. That's awesome. I love that. And we've managed to keep 9 people in the room, so we managed to keep some people's attention. I'm happy my dog woke me up. Yeah, but I bet you when you get calmed down, you'll probably go to sleep. Yeah, but you say that about not having many places to be. You can be so open. Problem is, we're still kind of censored here. It's just nice to be able to come in and just ramble, and be able to say some of the things we can say without not getting. Because this is Gemma's channel, and I try to be careful what goes on. And she does have a hard time getting me monetized. And a lot of times we don't even talk about anything that should be bad. Now, tonight we touched on a few things that might. Yes, they are actually, Black Dragon. There are some Catholic rituals that are very close to pagan rituals. Now, I was just shocked. I'd never been to a Catholic mass before. I was like, holy cow, this up and down, turn your back, do this stuff. Like, man, this is an exercise. I respect everybody's opinion too, as long as their opinion is not being thrown in my face. I try not to be like, this is what you do. If there are people like that, and I'll listen to what you have to say. Just be respectful. I'll be respectful if you be respectful. Or I'll just walk away. That's the key. Is people have stopped listening to each other, and they're just talking to each other. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? People don't talk to each other anymore. They talk at each other. And back in my day, they did it in Latin. I like to learn Latin. I knew a little bit. I know a little Japanese. I can write a little Japanese. But it sucks now. They try to teach me Spanish, man. You're talking about somebody butchering a language. All right, let's call it a night. This is a good time to call it a night. I love y'all. This was fantastic night. I love it when you guys get to talking. But I do need to cut this off. I mean, it's going on 3:30. We're actually 3:25. But by the time I finish my good nights, it will be 3:30 because I'm almost as bad as Gemma about rambling. Plus, I got to give her our things again. Okay, I don't know. She said something about streaming Sunday, but I don't know. She never brought it up today. So Monday, 11 o'clock, her premiere. Tuesday at 1, Tuesday talk. Wednesday, me, 10 to midnight. Thursday, I think, Pixie. But actually, she should be every other Thursday. She may stream Thursday, so we'll have to wait and see. I believe Gemma does Oracle Saturday this week. I'm sure I'll know for sure either Monday or Tuesday. So I'll be on Friday night at midnight for Gemma's replay. Gemma owes me bacon reading. There you go, a reminder. And then she'll stream Oracles at 7 Saturday, I believe. Let's keep ourselves hot and comfortable now. Hot and comfortable. That sounded stupid. I want everybody to just have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And tomorrow's Sunday, so enjoy your Sunday. And no, Eris, I've held the book in my hand, but I do need to read it. I've had it before in my hand and never read it, but I will. If you're suggesting to read it, I'll read it. Might be interesting read. Like I said, I had it a couple times in my hand at the library. I should have read it, but I got and somehow. Because I say the same thing 2 or 3 times a week. Something. It's the conversation exchange for a back idea, back and forth. But yeah, let's call it a night before we go to midnight, before we go to 4 o'clock, or the sun comes up. I don't know if I can do that tonight. I'm getting kind of. And folks, you guys were wonderful tonight. Thanks for hanging with me. Like I said, I love it when you guys get to rocking like this. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Rest of the weekend. Have a wonderful Sunday. And I will see you guys on the flip side of Monday after 11 o'clock. You guys have a wonderful day tomorrow. Thank you all. Much, much love and much respect to you all. God bless. Many blessings. Have a wonderful night.